await Game 2 on semi-final Sunday. This is the CFL on CBC in HD. The Scotiabank West semifinal from sold-out McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Today, the third-place Saskatchewan Roughriders take on the second-place Calgary Stampeders. Now, the Stamps have lost only once at home this season, but their home field advantage may be challenged by an estimated 10,000 to 15,000 Saskatchewan fans who have tickets for today's game. It's playoff time in the CFL. And today, one team's season will come to an end on the road to the Grey Cup. Good afternoon. I'm Mark Lee along with the big man, Chris Walby. Chris, careers are often defined at playoff time in this league, and today a 33-year-old CFL playoff rookie, Kerry Joseph, gets his first taste of the postseason in Canada. Is he up to it?
Oh, absolutely. If you talk to him all week, he's very even-keeled. He plays with emotion, but a controlled emotion. Now, here's a guy, a quarterback, that's been taking a beating all season. He's wearing a specially designed brace on his left knee for stability. Now, the biggest thing about him is he's had a great week of practice. He's been very, very focused, and they've designed plays to force Kerry Joseph to run with the football. So you know what? He's about as healthy as he's going to get, and the forces of this team will ride on number 4's back today.
Yeah, Danny Barrett saying you can see it in his eyes all week. He's ready to go. How about Calgary? Playoff rookies adorn their defense. In a risky move by Tom Higgins, he's decided to trade experience for youth and speed. What do you think?
Well, I call this the great experiment because this thing could surely backfire. I mean, I don't necessarily agree. I think experience really is the factor. But Robert Rodriguez, 95, comes in one game against Winnipeg, last game of the season, makes an impact. He'll start in place of John Grace, the Defensive Player of the Year last year. Then they move Khalid Abdullah to the short side linebacker, bring Trey Young, who's played 2 years at safety, back down to the strong side, and Brian Clark right there, who makes all the calls and adjustment at the middle linebacker position, is going to have his hands full checking out, making situational calls. And I tell you what, once the game gets going, it's going to be everybody up to themselves to make sure they know they're in the right spot.
And Clark, the only veteran in that linebacking core that started the season. All right, how about your Rona playoff game notes?
Well, I'd love to have some fun with this. For Saskatchewan on offense, hey, 33-year-old Virgil, a little play on words, Kerry Joseph is the guy. The fortunes of the Saskatchewan Roughriders right on the back of Kerry Joseph today, even though he's not 100% healthy. On defense, a fantastic 4. I'm talking about Perry, Jeriniak, Schultz, and Davis. 33 of 51 team sacks by the front 4 alone. On the other side of the coin, you got to take a look. To be or not to be, a little Shakespeare for Henry Burris. Is he going to bring the bad game where he forces turnovers, or the good game where he's majestic out there distributing the football? And welcome to Denny's. That's Denny Crehan, the defensive coordinator. Today's special fried Saskatchewan offense.
Thank you, Chris. A gorgeous day for football here in Calgary for Danny Barrett, his 5th consecutive season in the playoffs with Saskatchewan, but all kinds of speculation. Might this be his final game as head coach of the Riders should they lose here today? Tom Higgins' Calgary Stampeders lost 3 of its last 4 games coming into the playoffs, had a bye in the final week. Is this team ready to make amends after turning the ball over 6 times 1 year ago and losing to Edmonton in the West semifinal? Today's Scotiabank semifinal, proudly presented in high definition. The Roughriders won the toss. They've deferred and will kick off. Kanji, a short kick into the sun, and it's Marcus Howell taking the return, bouncing outside now to the 45, down the sidelines, and he's knocked out of bounds in front of the Stampeder bench. Terrific field position for Calgary on their first offensive series. A 36-yard return as Henry Burris gets set to go. against these Saskatchewan Roughriders. He's had a terrific record against his old team, winning 3 of 4 games since coming to Calgary as a free agent. But the question here today, who will show up at quarterback? The good Henry or the bad Henry? The quarterback who would light up a CFL game, or a quarterback who can be frustrated? First down, and they'll go on the ground to Joffrey Reynolds, the number 2 running back in the league. And he's up the gut for a gain of close to 10. Very close to the first down marker.
Well, that's exactly how you want to start establishing your offense. Burris handing off to Joffrey Reynolds and making the mark is establishing the running game. The receiving crew is a good one, and Elijah Thurman has been the one receiver on this team that had big games against Saskatchewan, his former team, and a very, very good offensive line that led the CFL in sacks against with 21.
And there's the measurement after the carry by Reynolds, and it'll be a yard shy of the first down in an interesting matchup here this afternoon. The number 1 running attack in the CFL from Calgary against the number 1 run defense in Saskatchewan. The Stampeders favored to win here this afternoon by as many as 7 points. The Riders, though, are dangerous, and privately, coaches in the West have said they're the one team they fear the most if they get on their game. 2nd and 1. Calgary. They'll stay on the ground, and Joffrey Reynolds into the pile, and that tough run defense from Saskatchewan isn't making it easy.
Well, you know, the thing is, the first play, everybody is just twitching to get onto the game, to get that first hit. The Calgary offensive line did a wonderful job of establishing Joffrey Reynolds on the first play. He busted for almost a first down. This time they make the adjustments. They're into the game now. The tackles, Schultz and Davis, a little tougher to run against on that play.
Steve Barato, the offensive coordinator in Calgary, saying this week everything develops off of Joffrey Reynolds. If they get him going, then they get Burris rolling and throwing. Play action, and there he is rolling, throwing to the sideline. It's complete to Jermaine Copeland, and another first down for Calgary.
So that'll be an interesting matchup all afternoon as we take a look at the lineups. A defensive line that's second to none. 33 of 51 team sacks by the front 4 right here, led by Fred Perry at 14. Maurice Lloyd getting the start at middle linebacker. Reggie Hunt and Mitchell back at the linebacker spot. The last time they met, he was playing safety. And Clovis, the free safety, the rookie. And James Johnson, first-year player at that wide side corner.
It's a gain of 12 on the catch by Copeland. First down, Calgary. Handing off again, and Joffrey Reynolds is stuffed and driven back. The rookie, Maurice Lloyd, getting the start at middle linebacker, lowers the boom on that Saskatchewan defense.
Well, Lloyd, we talked about him, the first-year player out of the University of Connecticut, filling that spot, just filling it. But it all starts with the guys up front, and that's Fred Perry, 41. We talked about him before. The fact is, we know what he can do, sacking the quarterback, but he is equally dangerous chasing down the running backs. He had 47 tackles from that rush end spot.
2nd and 9. Kitwana Jones checks in for Nate Davis in this passing situation. Burris back to pass, throwing for the end zone, and incomplete. Too far. Intended for Kenyon Rambo. And it looks like there's a penalty on the play.
Flag thrown on the far side. Henry Burris seems to indicate that he thinks it's going against Saskatchewan. Trying to get Rambo down the seam.
Ken Lazarick is the referee this afternoon here in Calgary.
Procedure, Calgary, no end, decline. 3rd down.
So a formation problem for the Stampeders wipes out what looked like a promising drive.
Remember, you have to have 7 players on the line of scrimmage. That could be the 5 offensive linemen, 2 receivers. You can mix it up any way you want, but 7 people have to be on that actual line of scrimmage. If one is off, it's a legal formation.
Sandro DeAngelis, the CFL's most dominant kicker this season and leading scorer, will attempt this field goal from the 39-yard line. His longest this year, 53. That's the one he kicked right here at this stadium to snap the Montreal 7-game winning streak. DeAngelis with the kick. It's up and good. Well, the Stampeders' sophomore kicker puts Calgary on the board first from 39 yards out.
Well, Sandro, as you say, club record 56 field goals, breaking the mark of Mark McLaughlin, who had 54. 3 short of the CFL record by Dave Ridgway, giving his team an early lead.
And here comes Kerry Joseph in his first ever CFL playoff game, his first playoff experience in 6 years, going back to the year 2000, when Joseph was a safety with the Seattle Seahawks in the NFL and was beaten 2017 by Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins. After 3 straight non-playoff years in Ottawa, Joseph goes to work in the postseason for Saskatchewan. He'll throw on first down, and it's complete in traffic. Yo Murphy, who was signed as a free agent in September, another former Renegade, with the catch.
Well, that's exactly how you want to start. We talked about the running game with Kenton Keith, but Kerry Joseph wants to deliver the football downfield. He does it on that play. Fantuz has really come into his own. 2 touchdowns the last 3 weeks. The only receiver from Saskatchewan that's got touchdowns in those last 3 weeks. On an offensive line that's very happy to welcome Big Fred Childress, who says this is his last year playing in the CFL at age 40.
Bunch formation on 2nd and 2 for the Roughriders after the 8-yard pickup by Murphy. In the shotgun, it's an option play. There's the pitch in behind Kenton Keith. He makes the catch, breaks a tackle, and slides outside. What an effort! And he's pushed out of bounds right near the first down marker.
Mark, this is all Kenton Keith because the pitch is bad. It's behind Kenton Keith, and they're very fortunate this wasn't a turnover. He gets a left hand. He actually has to reach back to cradle that ball. And then look, there's Williams with a chance to bring him down, but he's not denying him. Now, you talk about the defensive end. That's why Raheem Abdullah, 53, had to commit to the quarterback, because Kerry Joseph played that exactly as he had to, as making the defensive end commit to him. That allows the pitch to go to Kenton Keith.
Kenton Keith over the 1,000-yard milestone this year, and he was caught in the backfield by Brian Clark. You're right, made that one-handed grab and still got away by that veteran, away from that veteran Calgary linebacker.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch what Kenton Keith does. I think the last part of this year, Mark, he's running as well as any running back in the CFL. He's had big games against Calgary, averages over 7 yards a carry, so I think this is a huge factor.
And they'll be about the length of the football shy of that first down. So now a decision. It's 3rd down on your own side of center field for Danny Barrett. And they need the length of a football for a first down.
You know, I really don't think there's much decision to be made here. Right now, when you have less than the length of a football as they're going to position that ball, you know you have to have confidence. And this is the best way to show confidence in your offensive line, is to go for it right now. Kenton Keith can carry it, but you know right now, Kerry Joseph, 6'2", 210 pounds, should probably just tuck behind that big offensive line to pick it up.
It's a 3rd down gamble. Saskatchewan on its opening offensive series, just shy of their own 45-yard line. Joseph, quarterback sneaks, and the big quarterback, all 210 pounds, has the Saskatchewan first down.
Well, getting behind and trying to push the defensive line. Maxey, Raheem Abdullah, what a game he played the last time these teams met. And a Pastic back in the lineup. A linebacking crew, Rodriguez in for John Grace, Defensive Player of the Year last year. And a defensive back, Kobe Reinhardt, a West All-Star at that short side cornerback position.
And that Calgary secondary, their weakest link. Double tight end formation on first down for Saskatchewan, and they'll hand off. Kenton Keith bouncing outside. Clark's got him this time and manhandles him out of bounds. Short gain on the play, as the Calgary defender Clark was right there to make the tackle.
Well, Kenton Keith realized that this is what he's done this year against Calgary, and you can see he hasn't carried the ball much, 10 carries being the maximum, but look at the yard per carry. If you work that out, it's about 7 yards a carry, so that's really good every time he touches the rock.
Well, Chris, these teams haven't played each other in 3 months. They played 3 games inside of 5 weeks, and Kenton Keith is a different running back since the first half of the season. 2nd down, pressure now on Joseph. He gets the ball away, and it's incomplete, skipping off the turf in front of Corey Grant. And Trey Young, the safety, now playing at that linebacker position, put pressure on the Saskatchewan quarterback.
Well, it's all about timing and lining up and not showing. He's just going to come off the bottom right there. He's not picked up, forces Kerry Joseph to step up into the pocket. But there's an example of the strength of Kerry Joseph. Look, he's in the grasp, but still manages to avoid the sack and get rid of the football.
So Luka Kanji with his first punt of the game, a 38-yard average, the lowest in the CFL among regular punters. Marcus Howell is the lone man back for Calgary. Kanji, who's had trouble with slow delivery of his punts, gets it away on the bounce. Howell now at his 25, and he's hammered. Kitwana Jones with a huge hit, a 38-yard punt. No return, no way. Goal after the 39-yarder by DeAngelis, and they go to a double tight end formation on first down. And the handoff is to Joffrey Reynolds, and he's swamped. Nate Davis and Reggie Hunt collapsing that Calgary offensive line and hitting the running back for a loss.
Well, you talked about this as a team that's very tough to run against. Fred Perry again, 41, not making the tackle, but forcing Reynolds back in where Davis and company bring him down.
Joffrey Reynolds, the #2 rusher in the CFL behind Charles Roberts this year with 1,541 yards. But he lost 3 on that play. 2nd and 13. Here comes the blitz from Saskatchewan as they line up. Flag on the play. Burris gets the ball away, and it's intercepted. David Bush on the tip, but there's a flag down.
Well, with this goal against Saskatchewan, if it's an offside against the Roughriders, they'll stay on there. They brought up blitz, lined up late.
Offside, Calgary, number 85, declined.
Wow, Kenyon Rambo, the wide receiver, jumping the gun on the snap count. A mental mistake by the receiver that cost the Stampeders the first big turnover by the Saskatchewan Roughriders early in this ball game.
Bush, the team leader with 5 picks this year, with some help from Johnson. And the first turnover of this game goes to Saskatchewan.
But smart play disguising the defense, giving Henry different looks. Now, Fred Perry's going to drop, and they're going to bring the linebacker, Maurice Lloyd, to the outside. It's man coverage. As you say, Johnson comes up with a big tip, and David Bush, a bigger interception.
First down, Saskatchewan at the Calgary 39. Play action. There's a pass to the near sideline, and Matt Dominguez has his first catch of this playoff game and heads upfield to the 30-yard line, a gain of 9.
Well, it's all about protecting the ball and creating opportunities by your defense. James Johnson, who has taken over that wide side corner, does a nice job of going up, getting his hands on the ball. But look at the concentration by David Bush. I mean, that is an uncharacteristically bad throw. Double coverage there. Burris is trying to get the receiver, Brett Ralph.
Henry Burris led the CFL in interceptions along with Ricky Ray with 18 this season. 2nd and 1, and Kerry Joseph will drive the ball for the first down. Joseph had the week off, the last week of the season, to rest that injured knee, and this week in practice, Danny Barrett was saying he was running with abandon, throwing the ball very well, but also throwing the ball away when his receivers were covered. And that's one thing they've had to convince him to do this year.
That has been the big knock. He's got that, the blinders on where he absolutely will not go away from trying to hit that receiver he's intending to get the ball to, and sometimes he forces the situation and it results in a turnover. I like the other thing they did with Kerry Joseph. So we see somebody down on the Saskatchewan defense. They actually came after him, Mark, and they forced Kerry Joseph to pull the ball down in practice and actually run with it. It was designed to force Kerry Joseph not to throw the ball where it can't be thrown and to bring it down and utilize his legs.
Danny Barrett was saying in those 3 years in Ottawa, he threw a lot of interceptions because he was always trying to make a play, but sometimes the wisest decision is to throw the ball away. Number 95, the rookie Robert Rodriguez, was seen leaving the field. That's not good news for Calgary as the youngster makes his playoff debut. 1st and 10 from the 29. Saskatchewan with 4 receivers to the wide side, a flag on the play, And the screen pass is incomplete, intended for Kenton Keith, but this looks like an offside against the Saskatchewan receiver.
Well, 4, as you say, to the wide side, trying to set up and run off the defenders. It is against Saskatchewan. The receivers jumped. Ken Lazar will give us the exact number, but they're trying to do a little screen pass.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 87, declined.
It's Yo Murphy, the 14-year veteran, jumping the gun, but designed to run off the defenders and then hit Kenton Keith underneath with a little screen pass, and hopefully he's got enough room in that open field to make some people miss.
Calgary pinning back their ears early in the game. Coming with the blitz, there's Yo Murphy, the former Renegade, a man with playoff experience in the CFL, the NFL, going to the Super Bowl with St. Louis Rams. In here to steady this offense for Saskatchewan. 2nd and 10. Joseph has time and a completion. Andy Fantuz, the Canadian rookie, who's been one of their big targets in the last month of the season, has a huge first down for the Roughriders.
Ever since Saskatchewan lost one of the greatest inside receivers in Ray Elgard, I don't think they've ever found a guy that's really come on in that middle. Andy Fantuz is the next best thing. He is, I'm going to nickname him the vacuum, because anything that comes near him, he just sucks it up. Great job of concentrating. Watch Abdullah, though.
Major foul, roughing the passer, hit below the knees, half the distance to goal line, first down.
Whoa, insult to injury on the call against Abdullah.
And the reason is, unless you're pushed from behind, as you see come right now, he actually trips and goes down. But if he's undeterred to the quarterback, you cannot hit the quarterback below the knees. If he's pushed, they don't throw the flag.
It's a 22-yard net for Saskatchewan, and here they are, 1st and goal on the Calgary 7. Double tight end formation. Here comes Armstead. The fake is to him. Joseph in pressure, throws it away. Just what we were talking about. And there's one of the wise decisions by this quarterback not to force the football.
Well, we saw earlier in the year, Mark, under that same situation where Kerry Joseph would still try and get it to the intended receiver, result in a turnover. Coach Barrett talked about the fact that they've worked long and hard on forcing him to think about it and getting rid of the football. He throws a perfect job of getting rid of it deep in the end zone where no one can come up with that ball.
Trey Young again in on the play. Scott Coe into the game for the injured Robert Rodriguez, also with pressure. 2nd and goal from the 7. Here comes the blitz again. Joseph gets it away. Wide open, and he drops the football. Kenton Keith at the goal line.
Oh my, I tell you what, that is unbelievable. They had the great call, set up perfectly, wide open. Ball is delivered. Kenton Keith is looking at where he wants to go rather than just concentrating on securing the ball. Just took his eyes off the ball for 1 second, Mark, and that cost him the catch.
Took a touchdown off the scoreboard. And so Luka Kanji will attempt this field goal from the 13-yard line at the left hash mark for Saskatchewan. Kanji. And he splits the uprights. It is small consolation for Kenton Keith and the Riders as they tie the game at 3. From 10 to 15,000, and they've been subdued after that sure-looking touchdown ended in a drop.
Well, Kenton Keith's going to release. Now freeze it there, guys. Here's Khalid Abdullah. That's the linebacker, and that's his responsibility. When the back flares out, he's got to pick up Kenton Keith. He stays on the blitz, forgets. You talked about inexperience. There's one right there.
There's a short kick. And the Stamps' Ron Johnson is there to make the catch and step out of bounds. Johnson back on the roster after that infamous drop or no catch ruling in Toronto against the Argonauts 3 weeks back.
Well, they still got confidence in Ron Johnson. He's a great speed receiver. Get away from coverage, and that's what they're looking for him to do this afternoon.
This Calgary offense is so potent with so many weapons, but this year inconsistency has been the trademark of Henry Burris and this offense through the air. He has but one 1,000-yard receiver this year in Nick Lewis. A good field position to go to work here. At his own 45-yard line, Burris on the ground again, and Reynolds is stuffed. Head on again, and it's Maurice Lloyd, that rookie middle, with another big smack for that Saskatchewan defense. Reminder, Tuesday night, an all-new Rick Mercer report. Rick gets a drumming lesson from one of the world's greatest drummers, Neil Peart from Rush. Then a new episode of This Hour Has 22 Minutes. It all starts Tuesday at 8 on CBC. Gain of 2 on that run by Reynolds. 2nd and 8. Here comes the Saskatchewan blitz. Backside. Ball's fumbled. It's a loose ball. Now they're ruling it an incomplete pass. The referee, Ken Lazarick, saying incomplete.
There's a flag on the play as well. It was thrown in. Right of scrimmage on the call. I believe it's going to go.
Eddie Davis was the man from the blind side with the hit, but the call is going against.
Offside. Calgary, number 80. Declined.
Well,
Third down.
Mark, that's the second offside by receiver on the Calgary team today, and that is just undisciplined. You talk about the fact that you have a great 8-1 home record, you play better at home, well then you should be avoiding these types of mistakes, these mental mistakes. Physical mistakes are going to happen during a football game. It's the mental ones you have to eliminate.
Did you think that was an incomplete pass? That ball looked like it was out before Burris got his hand going forward.
Mark, you are the former quarterback.
Burke Dales to punt for Calgary as they escape what looked like another turnover. And a good punt it is, driving Dorsey into his own end zone. It went over his head. And the special teams player of the month for October concedes a single. Inch ahead on that punt single from Burke Dales, a 73-yarder for the Calgary punter, just one shy of his longest this season. Back in offense, Kerry Joseph and the Riders against the blitz. They'll hand off. Kenton Keith breaks the tackle, and Brian Clark then hurdles. What second effort there as Kenton Keith was surrounded. An 8-yard gain on the play. But let's revisit what looked like a fumble by Henry Burris.
Well, let's take a look as he takes it. Remember, if he hasn't got that ball and he's bringing it up, now I don't think he's on the throw down or the release part of it, so that should be a fumble. He's bringing it up to the throwing motion. I think the Stampeders got away with one. Hey, should they have maybe challenged that?
Perhaps. That looked very close to being a fumble. 2nd and 3. Option. A dangerous pitch. Oh my goodness. And the Riders managed to make a first down as Kenton Keith brought that precarious pitch down near the sideline.
That is the second time we've seen the option pitch, and the second time it's almost cost the Saskatchewan offense. That ball almost looked like it got a little bit deflected, but great concentration as you see Ken Keith balancing it on his helmet, trying to bring that ball down. But it's a great play when it works, but boy, you sure hate to see if he drops that, because remember, sometimes those pitches are behind the line of scrimmage, means that a free ball, anybody can pick it up.
Well, he dropped that short touchdown pass. He makes good there, holding on to that bad pitch. And it is a first down, Saskatchewan. Stamp showing the blitz. They bring it again against Joseph. Joseph steps up. It looked like a face mask on the quarterback. And he wants a call, but Ken Lazarick, who was standing right there, did not catch Mark Caliste grabbing the quarterback's face mask.
Mark, you're right, 100% on that. Kerry Joseph has his head hit. And you see as they go up and he swings by, 37 grabs the face mask. That is definite penalty. That's Mark Caliste. And as you say, Ken Lazarick right there. Very surprised that the flag was not thrown.
Stampeders on defense have been blitz happy here in this opening quarter of football. Again, they come with the heat. Joseph throwing deep downfield for Corey Grant. It's incomplete. And there's a flag on the play back near Joseph. And it's going against the Stampeders.
You know what? They got away with one the play previous. It should have been a contact to the helmet on Caliste. This time they're going to call unnecessary roughness on.
Foul, roughing the passer. Calgary, number 56, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Now Scott Coe, who comes in place of the injured Robert Rodriguez, is just going to come late, and there he is right there, and he just follows through. That ball is delivered. It's again a discipline penalty. Back off, don't hurt your team. He just follows through. Costs his team 15 yards and a first down.
J.R. Ruffin with tremendous coverage on Corey Grant to break up that pass play, but Scott Coe has the second roughing the quarterback penalty for this Calgary defense. Unlike a Tom Higgins coach team, but Higgins did tell us they were going to pin their ears back today and hit Joseph on every chance and put him under pressure. Handing off, Kenton Keith up the gut on the right side, and a short gain in heavy traffic. Let's go down to the sidelines now and welcome Brenda Irving. Brenda?
Well, Mark, as you mentioned, Kerry Joseph's first CFL playoff game. This is it, but it's not his first as a pro. He started a playoff game at safety for the Seattle Seahawks back in 2000. Now, he said he learned some valuable lessons from that game, which will help him today. And the biggest one, that every play counts. He said one blown play cost his team the win against Miami. He says he's never going to forget that play. Needs to remember that today.
That's right, and now he's getting his first taste of the CFL postseason. The blitz again coming from Calgary. Ball away in the flats, and Kenton Keith has the catch, and he'll be short of the first down by about 3, maybe 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, this is not the first read for Kerry Joseph. He's got to look downfield, nothing's there, and then he has to come to the outside as he waits for Kenton Keith to run a little up and out. Get to the sideline, trying to get him on one-on-one coverage where he can make the defender miss. Good job of bringing him down short and forcing a punting situation.
Now the rookie, Luka Kanji, trying to tilt the field here in terms of field position. Standing just across the midfield stripe.
Oh, there it is.
Kanji, again, a shank, angling it out of bounds and away from Marcus Howell. There will be no return. Kanji with a short punt, but making sure the Stamps have no return on the play. We have a chance to remind you to log on to cbc.ca/warrior to cast your vote for the Warrior of the Game. GMC is giving away 2 trucks this year, 1 for you and 1 for the Warrior of the Year. Chris Walby will be hosting Walby's Warriors 9. Grey Cup Sunday beginning at 3 Eastern. Looking forward to that in your hometown of Winnipeg. Already very few tickets left in that location at the Canadiens Hotel.
2-1 Yacht Club.
Double tight end formation for Calgary in tough field position, and good play action, and they sniff that out. And again, it's the rookie middle linebacker Lloyd, who has been a huge force in the first quarter of his playoff debut.
Well, he's in his 7th football game. He's a late addition to the Roughriders, but he's sure become an impact player at that Mac or middle linebacker position. Fred Perry there as well, but out of nowhere, shot out of a cannon, 47, Maurice Lloyd just laying a lick on Henry Burris, bringing him down for a huge loss.
It's a loss of 4 on the play, the second loss and the first sack of the game for the Riders. The rookie Lloyd bouncing along that D-line. Here they come again. Pressure. A flat pass is caught by Reynolds at full speed. Look at him go! He fumbles the football, and Lloyd's on it for Saskatchewan.
Mark, last year in the West semifinal, Joffrey Reynolds has been haunted by the fact that he fumbled the ball twice. He said, I'm dedicating this whole year to get back to the playoffs, to have a better outing, a better turn of events. This time they do a little dump pass. He does a great job of eluding tacklers, busting back against the grain. He's going to cut it back inside, but then the ball gets stripped, and Maurice Lloyd, who's been around the quarterback and the ball carrier. Big turnover, second one by the Saskatchewan defense.
So today. 2 big rookies, Chris, make their presence felt. Tristan Clovis, the rookie out of McMaster, forcing the fumble, and then Maurice Lloyd, the rookie out of Connecticut, with the fumble recovery. And shades of 1 year ago for Joffrey Reynolds. Backpedaling, Kerry Joseph has a man open. It's Dominguez. Incomplete, just overthrown as Wes Lysak comes across to put a lick on the receiver from the safety position. It's the final play of the first quarter as this Calgary football team has been run over by a spirited Saskatchewan defense. November Sunday, And at the end of the first quarter, the Stamps have the lead, but they've been clearly outplayed in that opening quarter.
Well, I mean, obviously the 2 turnovers stand out, the fumble by Reynolds and the interception by Henry Burris. The other thing is penalties, and that's not shown in this chart. I mean, 2 roughing the passers on the Saskatchewan or Calgary defense, and on offense, 2 receivers jumping offside to kill his drive. So the penalties have really hurt the Calgary offense early this game.
There's young Maurice Lloyd, who has been a wrecking ball on that Saskatchewan defense in that first quarter. Bunch formation for the Riders on 2nd and 10. Just a 3-man rush now from Calgary. And Joseph can't find a receiver. There's a fumble as he's hit in the backfield. And Saskatchewan holds on as the Big Chill comes up with the football. But it's Terrence Patrick, the rush end, who separated Joseph from the football.
Well, this is called a coverage sack, as the secondary linebackers do an excellent job of taking away any potential receiving threat for Kerry Joseph. He's pumping, he's looking, he can't go. He's not going to force the situation at the last second. He's looking to his left. Maybe there's something open there, but the gate closes quickly as Terrence Patrick comes up with his 7th sack of the season.
So Luka Kanji will attempt this field goal now from the 47-yard line. His longest this year, 53. Kanji, the rookie, it's low and wide. And J.R. Ruffin, with all that speed to burn, will take it out of the end zone, but can't get away as Kitwana Jones is downfield to make the special teams tackle for Saskatchewan. So low and wide, Kanji misses a chance to take the lead for Saskatchewan. Well, we got a chance now to go inside Danny Barrett's Rough Rider bench as we get mic'd up. Mic'd up, brought to you by Rogers Wireless, Canada's clearest wireless network.
Daddy's thinking about you, son. But you're right here, baby. Right here. You take the fullback. Hunt got first inside. Inside. Y'all ready? Y'all got it? It ain't over yet, man. Just got stuck.
Well, that Saskatchewan defense possessed in that first quarter of football. And now Henry Burris and the Stampeders with tough field position. First down at their own 5. Play action. Burris wants to throw. He will. And it's incomplete. Nearly intercepted. Jackie Mitchell had a chance at the falling ball. But Kenyon Rambo, who went way up in the air to make the catch, couldn't hold on, and now is hobbled as he heads back to the huddle.
Well, he can't come up with the catch because of the excellent timing of the hit by James Johnson. Once again, making his presence felt. He's got an earlier deflection that resulted in a David Bush interception. And watch as he times it. He tries to climb the ladder, as you say, but the force of the hit takes him away from the ball. And now he's down, and he has missed a few games earlier this year, Mark. And
he's in a lot of difficulty. It looked like his ankle twisted as he came down after the hit by James Johnson. This Saskatchewan defense is packing a wallop today. Calgary receiver Kenyon Rambo has left the game with an ankle injury, and he hurt that ankle back in week 7 against Saskatchewan. But this Saskatchewan defense has started this game hungry and explosive. Big hits from the rookie Lloyd, and forcing the fumble Tristan Clovis, and there was Lloyd again falling on the loose ball.
Well, Coach Barrett said we are a better team today than the last time we were when we met the Stampeders. You take a look at Richard Hall, the defensive coordinator, sporting a fancy new haircut.
2nd and 10. Calgary trying to dig their way out of a bad field position. Now pressure. Fred Perry. And it's incomplete, and another huge hit. Reggie Hunt this time buries Wes Cates, who just got his hands on that incomplete pass.
This is inspired football, folks. This is what you're supposed to do. Don't lay off. The ball is incomplete. Don't turn away and say, I don't have to lay the leather on you. You know what? You get a chance to stick any receiver, you put your helmet right in between the numbers. That's exactly what happens. Great pressure by Fred Perry, and as he turns around, number 9, Reggie, they call him the Grim Reaper, Hunt, delivering the blow.
I love you, baby.
And Reggie Hunt savoring that shot. Now Burke Dale standing 10 yards deep in his end zone. Do the Stampeders give up the safety touch here to try to repair their field position?
I think that's a great call, Mark.
And he will concede the safety. So the Riders moving forward. Welcome back to the Scotiabank West semifinal on CBC. Danny Barrett huddling his players at the Saskatchewan bench is in the final year of his contract with the Riders, and after GM Roy Shivers was fired at mid-season, all kinds of speculation about Danny Barrett's tenure in Saskatchewan, the fact that his job is in jeopardy should the Riders lose today. And Chrissy was pretty emotional yesterday at the pregame news conference, saying, "I've never been worried about my job. I've never asked my players to win for me. Faith guides me. You don't have to worry about Danny Barrett."
What's the old adage? You always hear it. You're hired to be fired. Eventually it happens. I think that you're going to see Danny Barrett try and go out on his own if he does leave.
Well, this football team under Barrett the past 7 years has made the playoffs in the last 5 years. But if you look at the last 3, the 9-9 records have been a statement about the mediocrity in Saskatchewan, and the fans there have much higher expectations. But remember, anything can happen at playoff time in the CFL. Dominic Dorsey at his 21-yard line, hemmed in by Wes Cates and gang tackled, but there are flags on the play back at the 50-yard line. As the back-to-back special teams player of the week, Dorsey doesn't have much on that return. And it's going against Saskatchewan. So the field position swings in Calgary's favor.
Well, and that's exactly what you hope to achieve by conceding
number
the safety.
22, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, Chernovsky's very, very lucky because not only did he get the holding penalty, but later on and after that, after the flag was thrown, you see Coach Barrett talking to him, he pushed the guy down again and kneed him. So very fortunate not to get additional yardage thrown on. You see him right there, he's working. That's the hold.
That's a tackle.
That's a tackle. It's a good tackle, but not on special teams.
Chernovsky, the second-year player out of UBC, and a real live wire on special teams for Saskatchewan this year. Joseph now first down in a bunch formation at his own 20-yard line. Trey Young moving to the short side of the field now, and they'll hand the ball off, and deking and weaving, it's Kenton Keith through traffic to the 25-yard line for a game of 5, and Khalid Abdullah, the rookie, playing today at the rover position, makes the tackle.
They're going to load up the left side and try and hit the front side with Kenton Keith, go away from the linebackers. The whole offensive formation in that play, Mark, was to draw the linebackers to the short side of the field and hopefully exploit the wide side with running back Kenton Keith.
Second and 5 from the 25 for Saskatchewan. Stamp showing blitz, then backing off as Clark moves back into the linebacking core. Here they come with a 3-man rush, but flags are down, and the play is whistled dead.
That'll be a time count violation against the Saskatchewan offense. Kerry Joseph. One of the keys is you have to
Time count violation. Saskatchewan, number 4, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You really want to get your offense up quickly on that line of scrimmage to allow you the ability, if you have to check off or audible, you get that opportunity. Don't get up there slow, where as you're looking over the defense, you run out of time.
So now it's second and 10. And Saskatchewan flanking 4 receivers to the wide side. Calgary showing blitz. They back off, now they bring it. Joseph in the pocket, throwing downfield, incomplete as Corey Grant went up for it, couldn't hold on with one hand in front of Cedric Williams. And so that drive will stall, and the Riders will be forced to punt.
Take a look at Raheem Abdullah working against a 2-time most outstanding offensive lineman. Actually misses him with his punch, and very fortunate that Abdullah slipped to the ground in that play.
Remember, Abdullah was the man who put that hellacious hit on Kerry Joseph right here in that 23-7 loss, and Joseph laid on the field for 2 minutes, but he got up and he came back in the game, and he's already had one roughing the passer call against Joseph here today. Marcus Howell at midfield gets a crack. Look out! It's Kanji, the lone man back, and now Howell into the wide side. There's nobody back. Touchdown, Calgary. 57 yards. And Marcus Howell, the man for all seasons in Calgary, has his first kick return touchdown of the year.
Tries to directional kick that ball, doesn't get a lot on it. puts a lot of pressure on that cover team, and once Marcus Howell gets through the initial cover team, he gets to the outside and becomes a foot race, and the former track star from Texas is not going to be caught.
It's the second kick return touchdown of the year for the Stampeders. Ruffin had a 90-yard kickoff return earlier in the season against Edmonton, and now Marcus Howell, the veteran, returns the first one. There's Pascal Masson, who had a big block to spring Marcus Howell, but was it legal?
Well, I think it's from behind. We're going to show it again. As we get down, we're going to stop it. Right there, guys, here he is right there, and he's hitting Chernovsky. He's right there, right in the back, and that allows or springs Marcus Howell through the initial hole of the cover team and allows him to get to the wide side. Very fortunate that flag wasn't thrown. That looked like a hit from behind.
It's a 57-yard punt return touchdown, and the Stampeders have an 11-5 lead. Dorsey from his 16-yard line is collared, then breaks the tackle, scoots up the sideline. Now he finds daylight and is surrounded and brought down. Cedric Williams helps make the tackle for Calgary at the 50-yard line. It's a 35-yard return by Dominic Dorsey. Marcus Howell, who signed as a free agent this year, Tom Higgins was telling us yesterday, he tried to get him a few years ago, but he went to Ottawa first, and when he finally signed him, he said, I'm glad to finally have you in red and white.
Well, he just does so many things. He's great on special teams, returning. He also plays receiver. He can play defensive back in the secondary if called upon. And when you're that valuable and you can play that many positions, you know you're going to do a good job for whatever team you're on.
Written off in Winnipeg, finding new life now in Calgary, Marcus Howell. There's movement by Abdullah along the line of scrimmage, and the play is whistled dead, but is it procedure? And some roughing pushing there along the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Jeremy O'Day getting into it, I believe, with Napastek, the nose tackle of the Stampeders. They'll separate those two. You expect to see that kind of stuff in the trenches. That's where all the dirty stuff gets going. Jim Mikowski, who's pointing in Abdullah's direction. Lazarus seems to indicate it's against. By that indication, it was against Saskatchewan.
Tom Higgins and Craig Dickinson, the special teams coach for Calgary, comparing notes. And you know they've got some tricks up their sleeve. This Calgary team has been one of the most innovative special teams outfits in the league this year.
Well, we've seen Wes Cates on a direct snap, Brian Clark on a direct snap on punt.
Procedure, Saskatchewan, number 53. Offside, Calgary, number 53. The penalties balance out, still first down.
Well, very fortunate right there that they've got a little off balance there as the front side defensive end jumps and the backside offensive tackle. They're not even against each other, and they deemed that it was one against the other, and therefore they'll offset each other.
The Riders first down at their own 50-yard line. 4 receivers to the wide side. That's where Joseph looks. Joseph with time pumps. Now he's pressured and fumbles the football. Terrence Patrick dives on it. Stampeder football. Scott Coe forcing the fumble, and Terrence Patrick recovers for Calgary. Scott Coe, of course, starting the game as a backup, but coming in after the injury to Robert Rodriguez.
Well, Scott Coe, who they feel is going to go a long way, all the way around the horn, and just keeps working, and that's what it's about. Don't give up on the play. Keep pursuing the quarterback, and good things will happen. He goes all the way to the outside, and from the backside, strips the ball away from Kerry Joseph, who does not see him, and he's holding that ball out there quite loose, Marcus. He's attempting to throw it. Another turnover, this time for the Roughriders.
First turnover by Saskatchewan, and Burris trying to take advantage, handing off to Joffrey Reynolds, and he's caught as he tries to reverse field. Terrell Jariniak making the tackle, a shoestring tackle for a loss of 3.
Terrell Jariniak, number 79, with the tackle.
Jariniak, one of the players who's come back into this lineup. He didn't play earlier this year against Calgary. As we mentioned, 3 months ago, the last time these two teams played after they met 3 times in 5 weeks, and a lot of changes since then on both sides.
Well, he wasn't healthy, Jariniak, and the fact is, I remember the start when he had his first 7 games with Saskatchewan. He had 7 quarterback sacks and had star written all over him. He's been injured a bit, but he still is a force at that defensive end spot.
2nd and 14. Burris back to pass. really deep. Now throwing downfield. It's intercepted. James Johnson has it for Saskatchewan. The second pick thrown today by Henry Burris.
And Mark, pressure. And Henry Burris forcing a situation. This is a ball that should not have been thrown. What a game by James Johnson. Coach Barrett said this guy, once he came to our locker room and our team, we had to keep him in the lineup. He just makes plays. And we see him with a deflected pass earlier in the first quarter with an interception by David Bush. And now he comes up with one of his own.
Stampeders had 6 drives today. 3 have ended in turnovers so far. Second pick of the day for Saskatchewan from Johnson.
Well, they're doing a great job. You see, watch, they're going to bring the blitz, and that's Reggie Hunt. Now, I want to show you something as we just freeze it right here, guys. Take a look at this. You have 3 guys covering 1 receiver, and that results in the Johnson interception.
Cardinal rule, you don't throw late over the middle. And Ken Keith bounces off the first defender from Calgary, but there's a flag down as he's brought down at midfield. Gain of 6 on that run.
As we take a look, it looks like it's going to be offside against the Stampeders. We talked earlier in the game, and I'm just going to finish my thought on Henry Burris. The fact is, which guy is going to show up today? He only had 2 interceptions all season in 3 games against Saskatchewan.
Offside,
2
Calgary,
today.
number 53. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the 3rd penalty today taken by Raheem Abdullah. And there goes the rookie, Robert Rodriguez, injured early, headed to the locker room along with J.R. Ruffin. So injuries piling up for that Calgary defense. And we talked about the risky changes that they've made. They've already lost one of the youngsters, and so Scott Coe has been pressed into service. A handoff to Armstead around the end. Armstead with some blocks and a shifty move, and he'll have another first down on that carry. Coming back to the lineup after missing 3 games with that knee injury.
And Mark, you mentioned the fact that Scott Cole in the middle, and there he is right there. The middle linebacker is going to play. He gets a nice job of being chopped down by the line coming around, allowing Armstead to get to the outside. But it makes you wonder about the decision now, and it's great as hindsight to sit Defensive Player of the Year last year, John Grace.
Well, Armstead looking good there. You're right. Grace could be of help today, but Armstead with that bruise above the knee that limited him and kept him out of the lineup the last 3 weeks. Joseph throwing a little hook pattern to Corey Grant, and he's hit quickly. Tony Tiller, who's subbing into the game now for the injured J.R. Ruffin, makes the tackle. It's a gain of 5 on the play.
Well, just a matter of protection. You see, it's a little bit what's called a chopper 70s protection, where the offensive lineman will try and throw at the defender's knees to get their hands down to allow a quick throw by the quarterback.
Stampeders took one American off their defense to get Ron Johnson into the lineup as a designated import on offense, and they've already lost 2 defenders in this first half. Here comes the blitz. The ball's away. It's completed. And Ken Keith holds on after being gang tackled. 2nd and 5 situation for the Riders.
Another penalty again. This time it's going to go against Saskatchewan.
The Riders looking for their first decent offensive drive of this football game. Here's the call.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 88.
That hurts.
Decline, 3rd down.
Matt Dominguez is offside, and now the Stamps are in a 3rd down situation, 3 to go. And Kerry Joseph looks to the bench for instructions. It looks like the Riders will go for it.
This is a huge call with, as you say, 3 yards we picked up for a first down.
3rd and 3. Saskatchewan going for it here at the 39 of Calgary. Joseph, quick drop. Here comes pressure. The ball is dropped, thrown behind Kenton Keith, and he was wide open for a first down. That's the 2nd time Joseph and Keith have not been able to hook up on a big play.
Well, he had the target. He just didn't deliver the ball. Just threw it behind. Ken Keith tried to twist his body around and pick it up. Real gutsy call to go for it on 3rd and 3.
You got to make that play, Chris. He was wide open.
Well, you know what? We're going to give Ken Keith a little hard time about dropping the easy one they should have in the first quarter for the touchdown. But this is a tough one to turn your body all the way around. And this ball should have been delivered better. And I think had he delivered that ball properly, Ken Keith could have made the catch and he would have picked up a first down. But that's all for naught now.
So the Riders turned over on downs. Double tight end formation for Henry Burris. Play action, rolling to the backside, throwing deep downfield. And Jermaine Copeland with a sliding catch for a Calgary first down. Copeland, who has had a frustrating year, couldn't get to the 1,000-yard plateau, had 4 touchdowns and 300 yards of receiving called back by penalties.
And do you see what happens when you try and make something happen on offense in a 3rd down gamble? You fail, and momentum switches to the other team, and all of a sudden they take advantage and they get a big play themselves. As you say, Jermaine Copeland, who's had tough games working against David Bush of the Saskatchewan secondary, comes up with a big catch there.
And Copeland and the talkative Nick Lewis have had a quiet week in Calgary, not baiting the Riders. That's his 2nd catch for 40 yards so far. Play action, now the bootleg. Burris throwing under pressure and throws the ball away, intended for Copeland again, but he had no chance of catching it. And James Johnson, who has 1 pick today, was right there in coverage.
James Johnson's a guy you may not want to throw against. Looking at his presence felt early and often in this ball game. Coach Burris looking for the signal. A little pressure from Fred Perry, forcing that throw.
You can see how Fred Perry affected the throw and trajectory of that ball from Henry Burris. Fred Perry with 10 pass knockdowns this year in the CFL, and Burris struggling at 30% completion right now and 2 picks. Throwing again across the middle. It's complete as Nick Lewis goes down for that football and then holds on after the play is whistled dead and it came loose on contact. Nick Lewis now into this game with his first catch for 12 yards.
Well, this is great vision by Burris as he's feeling the pressure. The pressure's going to get him. He's going to step up just a touch and deliver a bullet to Nick Lewis. He knows he's going to get it, and it comes around. There's Reggie Hunt, Terrell Jerniak, excuse me. He just delivers a ball and a rope to Nick Lewis.
1st and 10, Stamps. Motion now. Rambo back into the game, and the handoff is up the gut to Joffrey Reynolds for a gain of 4. That was the big question coming into this game, which Henry Burris would show up. He has been wildly inconsistent this year. We all know he can light up a game with his big arm and his athletic ability, but we've also seen the frustration to watch him throwing off his back foot and missing receivers. We've seen a lot of that in this first half. 2 interceptions thrown so far, and Tom Higgins was saying they're really trying to get him more composure as a quarterback and using Danny McManus, the backup, as a mentor. This is the pistol formation that Calgary likes to use, with Reynolds in behind the quarterback in the shotgun. But now Henry Burris doesn't like what he sees on the Saskatchewan defense and has called a timeout with 4:05 to go until halftime. A reminder, this Tuesday night at 9 on CBC, Ian Tracy stars in Intelligence. It's a crime drama set in a world of espionage where the rules are there are no rules. Intelligence, Tuesday at 9 on CBC. So Henry Burris trying to regain his composure. You know, he is an excitable quarterback, Chris. He has all kinds of spark, but sometimes that can be to the detriment of a quarterback when he can't maintain his composure.
He also has a ton of confidence, and I guarantee he's not going to let those 2 interceptions rattle him at all. He'll put that ball downfield in the very next play.
Big 2nd down, 6 to go here for Calgary. Burris under pressure, has the ball away, and it's complete to Kenyon Rambo. And Rambo is right near the first down stick. And this will be a Calgary first down.
Well, it's nice to see Kenyon Rambo back in the ball game. Left earlier after a big hit by James Johnson. This time again, look at no fear, going up and climbing the ladder, leaving his feet to secure another catch. Holds on to this one and has a first down for that offense.
The 2nd-year man out of Ohio State with a big first down. And now it's 1st and 10 from the 20 of Saskatchewan. Burris, pitch out. Joffrey Reynolds outside, gets past Fred Perry. Now turns it on and drives his way right through the tackle of David Bush.
Mark, they're going to run this off what's called the bunch formation. 3 receivers to the wide side, and they're going to go right behind him. It's almost like blocking. There they are right there, and then they're just going to give him the ball. Allows him to find just a seam. Runs through the tackle of Fred Perry, brought down by David Bush, but not before picking up 8 yards.
Joffrey Reynolds with 8 carries for 19 yards. It's been slow going for the big back in red and white. On the ground again. Bouncing. And Mike McCullough, the Canadian middle linebacker, makes a big stand. No gain on the play on 2nd and 2. The 3-minute warning has been given to the benches at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Stampeders have had a nerve-wracking start to this game, but right now they have a chance to take a commanding lead. Let's check in on their bench right now. Mic'd up. Brought to you by Rogers Wireless, Canada's clearest wireless network.
Your C-gap, your D-gap, right? When they cut that ball, if they start weak and cut it back, you got to kill that guy. You got to wipe that sucker out.
Or rotate, because the guy on the backside stayed with Ron high.
Okay.
Free safety would roll into the middle, and they looked like they had 2 guys back that way. Yeah. Looked like a guy just on you, just hanging with you.
Some advice from Danny McManus, who is a second set of eyes on the sidelines for Henry Burris and a calming influence for the high-strung quarterback. And Calgary with a chance for a field goal here. The ball just inside the 20. Will spot it at 19 for Sandro DeAngelis. Flags fly on the play. And Saskatchewan is pointing at Calgary. It's a procedure call against the Stampeders.
That's not really a bad penalty, Mark, because of the fact that when you're tighter into the goalpost, it really makes that angle a little sharper. So I think DeAngelis likes to come back a little bit, get a better view of the uprights.
Calgary, legal snap down, number 92, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So the Stamps trying to draw a penalty from Saskatchewan. They called themselves. And DeAngelis, you're right, Chris, will have a better look from the 24 now, the left hash marks. Ball is out, down, kicked, and good. DeAngelis, sure so far today, and the Stampeders widen their lead. And this Saskatchewan football team has to be wondering about all the opportunities that have gone awry in this first half of football. Their defense has set them up, but the offense has not taken advantage of it. A reminder coming up at halftime, it's Canadian Tire at the half. Elliott and the panel, Frerzi, Millie, and Kahari, to talk about this first half and that thrilling East semifinal. And then we go back in the day and revisit the 1970 West Final, a Calgary-Saskatchewan matchup that broke a lot of Rider fans' hearts. Larry Robinson with that late field goal, I believe, in that game, to clinch it for Calgary. Kerry Joseph now, with time, goes to the flats. It's high and incomplete again to Kenton Keith. And Joseph has had trouble with his accuracy in this game so far.
Well, accuracy and control. It almost looks like he's trying to put some touch on this ball. And as he tries to put it, it gets away from it, floats to the receiver. He sits back there and he's just trying to put a little touch on it. He ends up throwing it high. Kenton Keith, not sure if he really has to leave his feet to grab that ball, but he can't snare it. 2nd down.
Joseph below 50% in the passing department, facing a 2nd and 10. Lysak drops off deep at safety. Joseph throwing to the sideline, and it's nowhere near Matt Dominguez and incomplete. And so Saskatchewan will have to punt their last possessions. Let's look at them. A Howell touchdown return, 57 yards on the punt. A lost fumble and a turnover on downs. This offense has gone stone cold after the defense opened this game with some wild football.
Well, I think they might want to just go back to the basics, and that's establishing Kenton Keith running the football again. That opens up your play action pass. That allows Kerry Joseph to maybe take off the ball himself on the outside and stretch that Calgary or Stampeder defense.
Kanji from his 25, a shank punt again, short. Marcus Howell at the 42, tries to get outside. Look at the wall he's got. Howell outside, down the sideline. Kanji is blocked. Howell tries to streak by and can't, as the rookie punter makes the tackle, but a huge return of 40 yards after a 34-yard punt by Kanji, and great field position for this Calgary offense.
It's the short punts that really puts your team, your covered team, in a tough situation because it allows the wall to be set up quicker. Now look at the wall here. It's all over here. Once he gets that, he's to the outside. If it's a long kick, it forces the cover team or the return team to run back to set that wall. When it's short, they don't have to go as far. I tell you what, Howell's taking advantage of 2 short kicks.
Don't kick it to the
Kanji. Don't for a touchdown. This one for a great return.
40 on that one and 57 on the touchdown. 97 yards on 2 punt returns for Marcus Howell. At the 29, first down Calgary. Play action, Burris throwing, jumping, and Elijah Thurman has the catch for a first down. A 12-yard gain for Elijah Thurman, who had hamstring trouble earlier and was being stretched on the sidelines on 2 occasions at the Calgary bench.
Elijah Thurman, who has 2 touchdowns against Saskatchewan already this year. A tall target, 6'3", and they really want to work him against the shorter corners. Johnson at 5'8", Nomar Morgan at 5'9".
The former Saskatchewan Roughrider who has good chemistry with Henry Burris from their days in Regina. Here's Burris again, handing off this time to Joffrey Reynolds. A straight arm, he gets outside and is forced out of bounds by Eddie Davis. And the gain is 5.
You know, it's imperative that the Saskatchewan defense try and help out its team by stepping up here, because right now it's becoming very discouraging. The offensive line of the Stampeders is starting to take control of this football game, allowing Burris the time to throw the ball, and Reynolds is finding small seams but productive seams to pick up good yardage when he touches and carrying it.
5 to go, Calgary at the 12.
2nd and 5 at the Saskatchewan 12. Stamps with a chance to take a commanding lead. Burris backside, hit screen. There's Elijah Thurman. They're dragging him. He fumbles the football. The Riders have it. Scott Schultz falls on the football. Thurman was stretching to try to get the ball across the plane, and it was knocked free. The 4th turnover by Calgary in this first half.
Well, they might challenge this one because they want to see, did he cross the plane? Remember, you can challenge this, and your first challenge does not cost you a timeout. As you see, he gets behind McNeil. He's just going to reach out last, trying to cross over that line, and gets punched out by Jackie Mitchell.
Well, the challenge flag has been thrown.
That he was down by contact.
Well, you see that knee, you know what? That's not a bad call. That knee was down. So they'll give him the ball on the 1-yard line, so it won't matter if he crossed the line or broke the plane. Take a look as he gets down, and let's watch that left knee. He still got the ball. It's the left knee right there that's down. He still got the ball before it's punched out.
That angle there obstructs the knee. Let's look here. Can't see it there either. Remember, it's got to be definitive and conclusive. The one angle did appear to show that Thurman's knee was down. This one right here.
Now take a look again. You can just see it.
Again, it's obstructed.
Well, that's an exactly. You're right, Mark, because it has to be conclusive. But we thought that a number of times up here, Mark, where we thought it might be challenged or overturned, and it wasn't. So, hey, let's take a look at this look. This is a good look right here. There's the knee, and it looks like it's down as Clovis brings him down.
The Calgary player's knee was down. The Calgary ball at the 2-yard line.
So there's the call, a break for Tom Higgins and the Stamps. As they retain possession, Schultz will not get the fumble recovery. And the ball is teed up here for Saskatchewan to put it into the end zone.
Well, you talk about the challenge. Some people say, is it really a benefit to the game? I think it is, because it helps you get situations correct. You didn't waste the time out there. It's a great call by Higgins to challenge that call, and he won it.
So the Stampeders with a chance to score. 1st and goal at the Saskatchewan 2. The Saskatchewan defense had made a big 2nd down stand on the last drive. Thought they had another one there. But Elijah Thurman ruled down before he fumbled the ball. And now Scott Schultz and this tired-looking Saskatchewan defense needs a big stand here before the half. Bunch formation. Burris handing off. Joffrey Reynolds into a crowd. He won't get into the end zone. A gain of 1 to the 1.
Trying to get to the bunch formation. They use it as almost like 3 tight ends to the wide side. He's going to try and tuck it in behind there, but good penetration by the Rough Rider defense. They're trying to run it to that wide side. Get good penetration. He stops. He almost breaks the plane. You see Fred Perry and company pulling him back, not allowing him to get to that line.
So it's 2nd and goal, Calgary from the 1. It was that Marcus Howell punt return that put Calgary in this terrific situation. Burris in behind his center, quarterback sneak, flags down, touchdown, the indication. But there are flags.
Mark, most of the time the flags are down in this situation. It's the defense that is invading the 1-yard neutral.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 93, declines.
Scott Schultz, the offside call, but touchdown stands as the fireworks go off here at McMahon.
Well, that is just, we talk about the importance of field position. We talked about earlier in this second quarter, the smart decision to concede the safety for field position. They took advantage of that, then a turnover. Now they get 2 great returns by Howell, 1 for a touchdown, 1 to give them great field position on Saskatchewan side of the field, and another touchdown.
The point after by DeAngelis is good, and the Stampeders have a 21-5 lead with 1:01 to go until the half. Remember, the Stamps were in a similar position 1 year ago when they led Edmonton 23-12 and then relaxed in the second half and lost. And these Stampeders have waited a year to get a chance to make good for that. As we check the anatomy of that last scoring drive, as I mentioned, it began with Marcus Howell's 40-yard punt return as he got a wall and got outside. Then Burris went to the air. Elijah Thurman stretching right to the 2-yard line. He was down before he fumbled, and then the sneak to the end zone. And the Stampeders have been the opportunists in this first half. Statistically, it has not been great for Henry Burris, but they have put the ball in the end zone now. And remember, 1 year ago, these Stampeders had the lead 23-12, and then turnovers cost them the game. 6 Calgary turnovers allowed these Edmonton Eskimos to come from behind in the second half and advance to the final and ultimately the breakout.
You don't think that everybody that was on that team last year is thinking that exactly? That as soon as they go into that locker room, every coach will remind every player on that team that, like, we got this game, it's just not self-destruct.
You know, because Colts into the boundary.
Coach Barato there.
Tom Higgins saying it was a mental mistake last year, that this team relaxed mentally, thought they had it won. Dorsey drops the kick, picks it up at the 25. He's surrounded and is caught by Walter Spencer from behind at the 35-yard line. A reminder, Warrior of the Game, we want you to log on to cbc.ca/CFL in the second half and cast your ballot for the player who you think has shown the heart and determination and courage of a warrior. Warrior of the Game is brought to you by the all-new 2007 GMC Sierra.
On the Buick, I ran like Coach did it there. Okay.
Henry Burris comparing notes on the Calgary bench with a 21-5 lead in the final minute now of this opening half. Joseph has been shaky. And there's an incompletion as Andy Fantus with a rare drop. And what was a first down pass. And there's a flag on the play.
Andy Fantus, number 83, the intended.
That's going to go against Calgary. Andy Fantus, as you say, tries to go low and secure another catch on their shoelaces.
Calgary, number 42, 5-yard penalty, first down repeated.
Well, that's Khalid Abdullah, who's playing the short side linebacker spot, the side closest to the field, just at the top. He just jumps a little bit, gets in that neutral zone.
First and 5 for the Riders.
First and 5 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Penalties have hurt Calgary, although they have the lead on the scoreboard. Joseph throwing again, all high percentage passes. And Yo Murphy pays a price there as his former teammate in Ottawa puts a lick on him. Krantz Clemens with the tackle.
You know what? You just can't live off this. You cannot live off these little short sideline passes.
Let's listen in on that hit by Clemens.
Good contact by Krantz Clemens on his former teammate. You got to go down the field against the Stampeders. This is a team that was the worst defending the pass, and you're not challenging them right now. You're taking the easy little out or the secure, safe passes.
2nd and 1. Riders with 4 receivers to the wide side. They'll sneak it, and another flag flies at the line of scrimmage as Kerry Joseph has the necessary first down yardage, but a frustrating offensive first half for Danny Barrett and his football team. You think back to the Kent Keith, what looked like sure touchdown, dropped at the goal line.
It's always a matter of big plays.
Offside, Calgary, number 42, 5-yard penalty, first down.
There's Khalid Abdullah again getting an offside penalty. But again, it's a scenario where they secured Ken Keith run the football, but you still got to go downfield, get Dominguez and Armstead involved in your offense.
Chris, that flag also helps Saskatchewan by stopping the clock. 39 seconds to go. Joseph crossing route complete to Fantuz. Fantuz has it. And Andy Fantuz will scramble just shy of the 45-yard line.
Well, it's very, very important they pick up some points, even if they get in field goal range, and allow Conji an attempt to come away with some points, something positive to end this first half on. They'd love a touchdown, but even if you get 3, it's something positive.
33 seconds and counting. Saskatchewan still with its timeout here in the first half. Here comes the Calgary blitz, and Joseph goes to the sideline. Jason Armstead has the first down and is hit out of bounds.
Steps out of bounds to save the clock.
Krantz Clemens across to make the hit again on the near sideline with 22 seconds on the clock.
And Joseph is going down a little bit further down the field with his receivers and their routes. Not content to just do the little dump off for 5 yards. He's getting good 10-yard routes from his receivers, getting a fresh set of first downs, and having him get out of bounds to stop the clock.
First down for Saskatchewan after that 11-yard gain to Armstead. Ball at the 36 of Calgary. Movement as Joseph is pressured in the pocket. Gets away and throws the ball out of bounds to stop the clock with 17 seconds. But there are flags again after the early movement.
Looks like they might get in the pass stick. The nose tackle 92 of the Stampeders. Looked like he jumped. Working against Jeremy O'Davy, Saskatchewan nominee for most outstanding offensive line, playing that center position.
Offside, Calgary, number 76, 5-yard penalty, first down repeated.
Chevrolet, who substitutes for the pass at that nose tackle position. He's right there.
As Calgary defense is aiding this last-minute Saskatchewan drive with these penalties. 17 seconds on the clock, and Joseph with a double tight end formation. 3 receivers to the wide side. Keith leaks out of the backfield. Joseph ducks the rush. Now he'll run for the first time this afternoon, and he'll have a first down with 8 seconds left.
That was a smart move by Kerry Joseph. Do not force the situation, pull the ball down, pick up the first down, and go down, knowing you only have 8 seconds left on the clock. You still got your timeout, I understand, but get down, you got the first down, you're in field goal range right now.
And Saskatchewan has used its timeout as Joseph comes to the Saskatchewan sideline. Conji warming up. Saskatchewan with a chance to perhaps one more play, and if they don't get it, a field goal attempt. You go to the end zone here, Chris, or you just try to set up field position for Conji and take the 3.
You know what, I take one stab at the end zone. I mean, you're within field goal range right now, so why not go for a touchdown? You need something to breathe life into your team. That's the way to do it.
Scott Coe in the lineup after the injury to Rodriguez. A field goal, of course, gets Saskatchewan to within 14 points. 8 seconds. First down at the Calgary 22. Joseph against the blitz again, pumping, throwing to the end zone, wide open, Saskatchewan.
Mark, what do we talk about? You got to get life. I tell you, everybody on Saskatchewan was sitting on the bench as soon as that touchdown happened. They all got back in the football game. You got to be aggressive. You can't play conservative and expect to win big football games. I love the mentality. Great call, great route. Run a little bit of a rub. They sprung Dominguez wide open. They all cheated to the inside receiver. Wide open, a breakdown that cost the Stampeders and may have breathed life into the Saskatchewan team.
A 22-yard touchdown strike, Joseph to Dominguez, and the point after is good. And the Riders trim the lead to 9 for Calgary. An 8-play drive over 65 yards in that final minute. A year ago, Matt Dominguez was sitting in his basement watching the West Division semifinal after a torn ACL ruined his season. Fought back through rehab and is here to make a big play today.
Well, they bring the blitz from the outside. It's just a blown coverage. Everybody bites on the inside receiver who settles down around the 10-yard line, and nobody picks up Dominguez running the streak to the back of the end zone. But again, if you don't go to the end zone, you don't have the opportunity. Love the call. Great job. Nice job of that offensive line to allow Kerry Joseph the time to find the wide open Dominguez.
Kerry Joseph with his first ever playoff touchdown pass in the CFL. Finally has some success after a rough start to this football game.
Well, after giving up 17 unanswered points to the Stampeders, they finally get some points himself.
Denny Crean, the one Achilles heel on that defense of his has been the pass defense, ranked last in the CFL, and on that last play, Kerry Joseph found that Achilles heel.
Well, and that's what you have to do, but you have to be aggressive. We talked about that, and what you do is you count on hopefully breaking the coverage, or else hoping for a breakdown in the coverage, and that's what you had there. They all jumped the inside receiver, Dominguez wide open.
Kanji with a squib kick on the ground, taken by Howell, returning kickoffs now after the injury to J.R. Ruffin, and Howell still on his feet and tracked down as he approaches the 45-yard line. On the final play of the first half, Matt Dominguez, the leader of this Saskatchewan football team, leads by example with a huge last-second touchdown. To the sidelines now, and here's Brendan.
Well, Tom, your club got off to a bit of a shaky start there, but what was the key to grabbing a lot of the momentum back from the Riders in that second quarter?
I think it was just a matter of believing and being consistent. We know what we wanted to do, and you're right, the turnovers are going to be killers, and we emphasized that all week because we experienced that along the whole season. So I think it was just a matter of just settling down and getting into a little bit of a rhythm.
Last year, of course, you know, at the half, you were in a bit of a similar situation. Are you going to address that at the half today?
I'm not sure that I'm going to have to, because we've been reminded all week about it. So we have a whole nother 30 minutes in which to play, and I'm sure we'll come out and have a very good second half.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Let's go up to Mark now.
Gentlemen, Tom Higgins and his Stampeders surviving 3 first-half turnovers. They have the lead as we go to the half at the West semifinal. Here at the half, autumn starts at Canadian Tire. Now, here's Elliot Friedman.
There is a lot of green in the crowd here at McMahon Stadium, a lot of Roughrider fans in attendance, and right now, despite the late touchdown, they're seeing red over one play, the overturning of the Elijah Thurman fumble at the goal line. And Sean, I think his knee was down. I didn't see it conclusively. Did you?
Well, I have to agree with you, Elliot. I actually think his knee was down. But no, it is not conclusive. The rule says that you have to have conclusive evidence in order to overturn a play, and we cannot see his knee touch the ground here in this replay. So I say that that play should have stood the way it was on the field.
All right, we'll see if that turns out to be a big story as the game develops. But the biggest story in the day in the Canadian Football League was Pinball Clement's decision to go with Michael Bishop instead of Damon Allen. The Argos come back and win. Guys, how short, despite the 2 late drives, should the hooks be for these quarterbacks today?
Well, luckily for Kerry Joseph, he had a good drive at the end of that half, or that hook, I would have said, put Marcus in there. But Kerry Joseph definitely looked like somebody who was playing his first playoff game. I didn't like the pocket presence that he had. You have to have 2 hands on the ball when you're in the pocket, and he had those 2 fumbles. And I didn't like the fact that he wasn't really placing his throws where he wanted them to go, except at the end of the half. I think he's a great quarterback at the end of a half, end of a game. He's got to come in the second half and be sharp.
Well, and this is what you get with Henry Bursch. You know, he needs to control his emotions. If I'm Steve Bratto, offensive coordinator for the Stampeders, I'm going to him and just say, calm down. I talked to Henry Bursch yesterday, and you could see the intensity in his eyes. And unfortunately, he is a player that can allow his emotions to control him. You know what? The Saskatchewan defense is playing very well. He's got to throw some of those balls away as opposed to forcing it. He just needs to calm down. You saw him late in the second quarter be able to get more into his groove. Coming into the second half, he's going to be a different player.
All right, the biggest concern I would have if I was a Saskatchewan Roughrider fan is Luca Conji. Yesterday, Danny Barrett told us late in the game if it's 40-plus yards, he might have to go for it because he's not sure of Conji's range. We saw a badly missed field goal, and as a result, Saskatchewan had to go for it later in the quarter and didn't get it. Sean, as a player, how much does knowing this concern you?
Oh, this is a huge issue. You know, Luca Conji's punting is hurting them. His field goal kicking is hurting them. He doesn't have the leg to get the ball the distance that they need. I mean, they were talking about in practice, they set it up. They're going to set him to kick a 50-yarder, and he doesn't hit it even in practice. So at a 47-yard distance in a game with a lot of pressure, I'm not going to Luca, unfortunately.
And the punting is what really concerns me right now because, I mean, he's punting the ball 35, 38 yards, but he's not getting any hang time on it. And that allowed Marcus Howell to return that ball, to set up his return, to go up the middle. The next one, he goes out to the end. And Luca Conji is a big reason for both of those returns.
Well, you know, a lot of it has to go onto his shoulders, but the coverage team for Saskatchewan has got to be better. Marcus Howell is doing a fantastic job returning. He has done a great job all season long, but the coverage teams for Saskatchewan have got to be better also.
All right, guys, when we come back, we'll begin to set up the second half, also back in the day. And how is Eric Tillman like this, the GM of Saskatchewan? He brought Marcus Howell to Ottawa. Probably wishes he'd left him outside the Canadian Football League. What is described as possibly the coldest playoff game in league history, minus 35 with the wind chill. The Stamps and Roughriders did battle in a winner-takes-all third game of the 70 Western Final. This Al Ford punt went just 24 yards, and Jim Cillier took it 63 the other way for the game's first touchdown. Cold feet and frosty fingers meant just keeping possession was a struggle, but Bob Pierce managed to hold on for this touchdown to even the score. Down by 2 with zeros on the clock and facing the teeth of the wind, Larry Robinson was good in his kick, and the Stampeders were off to the Grey Cup.
The Scotiabank semifinals on CBC are brought to you by Dodge and their retailers. Grab life by the horns.
Welcome back to the Scotiabank West semifinal. Right now, let's go to the sidelines, and here's Brenda with Danny Barrett.
Danny, a half of some missed opportunities for your clubs, but you made the most of that last one. That touchdown really breathed new life into this club.
It did, and you can feel the momentum kind of shift a little bit here. Our players really felt good going to halftime because we put the ball in the end zone, and now our cover teams need to step up and cover. We can't afford to have any more big returns.
What advice did you have for Kerry Joseph at the half, and what may we see differently from this offense?
Well, basically, he has to step up and use his legs when they're dropping off into this coverage like he did the last drive and not hold the football.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda, and good advice from Danny Barrett. We've only seen Kerry Joseph run the football once, and having the week off to rest that bruised knee, we thought we'd see more of his running ability.
Well, the thing that disturbs me more, and I totally agree he's got to run with the ball, but I also think, as I said during the second quarter, he's got to go downfield with the ball. Only 5 pass attempts over 10 yards. He's only completed 2 of them. At least 1 for 22 yards was a touchdown. So that's something that shows you go deep or go home.
21-12 Calgary at the half of this game. 1 year ago, 23-12 Calgary in the lead, and then they blew it. You know they're thinking about that going into this second half. Let's have a look at the first half statistics of this West semifinal, and the numbers aren't pretty.
Well, they're not pretty. I mean, obviously, we thought it was more of a running game. And, you know, Kenton Keith only 5 carries for 26 yards, and Joffrey Reynolds has 11 carries. I mean, the defenses are playing well against the run. I just am surprised there's been so many penalties and the turnovers. We had 5 turnovers, 3 by Calgary, 2 by Saskatchewan in the first half.
Yes, the Stampeders really survived the mishaps of that first quarter. The 2 interceptions thrown by Henry Burris and the 1 fumble by Joffrey Reynolds. And they have the lead to start this second half as Dominic Dorsey awaits the kick from Sandro DeAngelis. Dorsey at his 13-yard line, straight up the hash marks, hammered hard.
Dorsey on the return.
Trey Young, the first man downfield to make the tackle.
Hit there by Calgary's Ron Johnson, number 83.
Kerry Joseph completed just 50% of his passes in the first half, but a big strike to close the half.
Well, that's how you want to go at halftime, with something positive. But I mentioned you got to go deep and throw that football. You cannot be conservative and take all these shallow things. Yeah, they're great for completion, but they don't put points on the board.
We'll see in this second half if Joseph uses his rushing ability to move the football, as his coach, Danny Barrett, has asked. First down, handoff, Canton Keith, gaping hole inside, gets around Wes Lysak. Now it's a foot race. Canton Keith into daylight. They won't catch him. Touchdown on the opening play of the second half. 76 yards.
A 76-yard touchdown.
Mark, last 2 drives, how about putting 2 touchdowns on the board? You know everybody in Ryderville is excited. You hopefully didn't come back late from the bathroom or get your cold beverage because you missed a great play by Kenton Keith as he breaks into the open. And does he have some speed? Hey, this pitch will tell you 1,000 words right there. He just runs away from the defenders.
Canton Keith up the middle, 73 yards for the touchdown to open this second half. 76 yards. What a run. The point after is good. And just like that, back-to-back unanswered touchdowns by Danny Barrett's Saskatchewan Roughriders. And they're back in this game, trailing. Canton Keith getting his win back after that 76-yard scorcher.
Well, Fred Childress does a great job. It's called a chip block, and then blocking Cole to the inside. Take a look at the 40-year-old guard. Chip, knock, Cole to the inside, spring Kenton Keith. Hey, you're 40 years old, and I tell you what, you know you're going to be in the Hall of Fame someday, Fred Childress. Great block, nice run by Kenton Keith.
Kenton Keith's longest touchdown run of his CFL career, bettering his previous mark of 75. Here's Marcus Howell now, getting outside. He's been elusive on kick returns, and he's forced out a touch at the 40-yard line. Howell having to handle both kickoffs and punt return duties with the injury to J.R. Ruffin in that first half. Henry Burris, not an exciting first half. Good on 50% of his passes, Chris Walden.
Well, again, you know, trying to do it. And again, look at this. Much like Kerry Joseph, success one time, over 20 yards, 28-yard reception. I mean, you've got to go downfield.
2 interceptions, though, and yet to throw a touchdown pass in this playoff game. Burris in the shotgun. Great play-action fake, and the naked bootleg fool everybody in green and white. As Jackie Mitchell escorts him out of bounds at the 54, it's a gain of 13 for the athletic quarterback.
Mark, the game they won 53-36, the first matchup, they ran the option. That means he faked it and he went outside, and it's exactly what he's doing again. Little play action, gets to the outside. What you do by doing this is force the defensive ends of the Roughriders to stay outside and worry about contain. That, in effect, opens up your run game inside.
That's exactly how he opened the second half in that July game back in Saskatchewan when they exploded for 53 points, the highest output in the league this year. Flat pass is complete to Nick Lewis. He has the presence of mind to get up and get a few more yards, and then has a few words.
Well, this really measures the mettle of the Calgary offense, knowing that you have given up 2 touchdowns and allowed Saskatchewan back in this football game. You want to answer offensively yourself. Move it down the field, utilize the clock, and put some points on the board for your side, and take some of that momentum back to your bench.
Nick Lewis, Calgary's only 1,000-yard receiver this year, has a gain of 6 to make it 2nd and 4. Burris, play action both ways, rolls right again, he'll run. Scott Schultz will ward him out of bounds but not until the Calgary quarterback has 5 and a first down.
Well, because what happens when you run the ball, and they have to respect Reynolds. Now they're going to run a little bit of a reverse, so it's a little bit of a trickery on an old play with Reynolds. But watch everybody come inside here, and that allows Henry Burris to get outside. All he has to do is beat one tackle. That's Maurice Lloyd. 47 can't wrap him up. Picks up a first down.
So the Stampeders marching here. Henry Burris this year scampering for 480 yards on the ground and 5 touchdowns. He is perhaps the most athletic quarterback in the league. The only quarterback really to go unscathed in terms of injuries. And he's running again, beating tackles and diving close to the first down marker. 10 yards up the gut. And evasive indeed.
You know, they tell Henry Burris, it's being said don't carry the entire team on your shoulders, Henry Burris. Spread around, put the ball everywhere else. But you know what? 3 successive plays, 3 successive runs by Henry Burris, and 3 first downs. That's getting it done yourself.
So Burris with the changeup, and Richie Hall now, the defensive coordinator for Saskatchewan, trying to counter as he matches minds with Steve Barato. They're friends. They talk football in the offseason, and right now they're matching tendencies and wits as Ivan Gutfriend attends the injured Saskatchewan Roughrider Luke Molinder. A reminder, Wednesday, catch an all-new Dragon's Den. Hopeful entrepreneurs pitch to wealthy investors. Will their ideas come to life, or will their dreams be shattered? Find out. Dragon's Den, Wednesday at 8 on CBC.
Well, Mark, we know we see Molinder down on the field. We really hope it's not too serious. They've only got 1 additional defensive lineman. That is him who goes in that rotation with Scott Schultz and Nate Davis in the middle. They have the ability, though, the Saskatchewan Roughriders do, of going to a 3-4 defense, going with 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers. So if they had to give one of the big fellows a rest, they would employ that defense.
For those just joining us, let's bring you up to date on the scoring in this football game. This electrifying 57-yard punt return touchdown by Marcus Howell helped turn the tables early. Then the 1-yard quarterback sneak from Henry Burris, and the Stampeders had a commanding lead, but in the final seconds, this 22-yard touchdown strike from Joseph to Dominguez put Saskatchewan back in the game. And on their first offensive play of the second half, Kenton Keith with a career-high 76-yard touchdown run, and it's a 2-point Calgary lead here in the third quarter.
2006, Canada's biggest career.
You know, Mark, we watched the earlier game this afternoon. It looked like Winnipeg had a commanding lead late in the fourth quarter. They make the quarterback switch. Michael Bishop comes on, and next thing you know, Toronto gets a victory. So it's amazing how momentum can switch. And boy, when a team starts feeling that they can do things, good things happen.
You know, Kenton Keith is one of the big changes in this Saskatchewan football club since these teams played their 3 games in 5 weeks early in the season. In the first 6 games, which included those Calgary encounters, he averaged 47.5 yards a game. In the 9 games since, 83.5. That's double the rushing yards per game.
Well, we talked about the fact that as he runs against the Stampeder defense, he averages over 7 yards a carry. But he's only been carrying it a max 10 times in 3 games. So, I mean, you've got to give him the football.
Luke Molinder off the field under his own steam. A good sight for Saskatchewan. He's the only backup defensive lineman they have in uniform here this afternoon as Nate Davis takes up his spot in the trenches. Stamps, threatening 1st and 10 at the 33. Burris, play action, throwing. He has a wide open receiver. It's Nick Lewis. And Lewis is right near the first down marker with that catch. Looks like he'll be just shy, and a little trash talk after the catch.
Well, the situation, we saw Henry Burris take off to the outside. Now take a look. Did you see Jeriniak's pass rush lane? It was outside. We're not going to let Henry get to the outside anymore. So basically, they're so contained conscious, that gets Henry Burris the extra time needed to find Nick Lewis, and he finds a hole in the zone, and it's a big completion.
So they are about a yard short after the 9-yard catch by Nick Lewis, who just completed his 3rd consecutive 1,000-yard receiving season. But he's been in a bit of a drought with no touchdowns in the last 6 games of the regular season and 1 in the last 9 games. This Calgary passing offense has not been fired up in the second half of the season. Second and less than a yard for the Stampeders. The ball at the 24 of Saskatchewan. Burris trying to answer back the Kenton Keith touchdown. Burris, quarterback sneak, and he'll have the Calgary first down.
Behind a big offensive line push. First down,
Well, nice surge by that offensive line. Comiskey, Robertson, and Pilon on the right side. It's the offensive coordinator, Steve Morato, right there, setting the plays in. Good surge by that offensive line.
Morato was saying, Chris, that, you know, when his quarterback is on, there's nobody better in this league. But when he's off, you know, it can be an eyesore, and he has talked and preached composure, and he's had him deal with Danny McManus to work on not getting fazed by plays that go bad. And Burris has come out here running the ball and passing with authority to start the second half. Handing off here on first down, and a loss on the play. Reggie Hunt spills Joffrey Reynolds in the Calgary backfield.
Well, one characteristic of Richie Hall's defense is they are going to come after you, especially as you get down near their goal line. It's just going to be a blitz from the outside. Nobody picks up Reggie Hunt, and he picks down or brings down Joffrey Reynolds for a loss.
Reggie Hunt, along with his brother Aaron Hunt, became Western All-Stars this year. The first time brothers have done that in the same conference since the Footies, Darren and Doug, back in the 90s. A loss of 5 on the tackle by Reggie Hunt. Burris back to pass, pressure, and they've got him. Terrell Duriniak with the sack and a big defensive stand by the Riders.
Well, great pressure once again. We talked about Fred Perry earlier in the broadcast. His partner on the other side, he's just going to run a little bit of a spin move, come back inside, not picked up by the interior of the offensive line, and a shoelace tackle on the elusive Henry Burris. But you know what, Mark, when you got a guy with the range of Sandro DeAngelis, it means it's a little longer of a field goal attempt.
3rd and 23, and this field goal attempt will come from the 42-yard line for Sandro DeAngelis. The CFL's #1 place kicker. It's blocked! A line drive stuffed by Saskatchewan.
This is what you want if you're Saskatchewan, to come out, not only do great things on offense, but a guy that's usually Mr. Automatic, kicking field goals, Sandro, get a hand up there and knock it down.
There's Nate Davis savoring that blocked field goal. The first time this year, Sandro DeAngelis has had a field goal blocked.
He's right in the middle, and you're going to see just a hand come up late. He gets it up. Very uncharacteristic low kick, though, by DeAngelis.
Well, those losses forced him to change the trajectory because it was 42 yards out. Out of the backfield, Kenton Keith beats the first man, and then he's gobbled up. Another big gain by Kenton Keith as Kobe Reinhardt had to fill from that quarterback position, make it 8 yards.
And Mark, the important thing about that is Calgary offense had that ball for a long time. That was a good drive down to get the field goal. They come away with nothing. So even though they had the ball all that time, Saskatchewan comes away unscathed and still only down by 2.
2 big losses, the 5-yard loss on the tackle to Joffrey Reynolds, and then the 8-yard loss on the sack. And that forced them back. 3rd and 23, and it affected the trajectory of that field goal by DeAngelis that was ultimately blocked. There's Kenton Keith, high hurdling his way to a first down right through the gut of that Calgary defense.
Well, Kenton Keith, who is generously listed at 5'11", they say he's around 5'8", really. Just wears platform socks and his shoes. You know what? He does it as he gets stronger during the game. Watch the determination as he leaves his feet, just trying to pick up that first down. Nice job.
First down in a no-huddle offense now for Saskatchewan at the 50. Joseph handing off. It's a reverse to Armstead. He gets outside, gets a block, and then Reinhardt is there to contain him on a slow-to-develop reverse to Armstead.
Yeah, and it's going to the short side. That means that your quarterback, Kerry Joseph, really has to get the big block. He's going to come around and try and get Kobe Reinhardt. Watch Kobe Reinhardt, #3, do a nice job of tossing Kerry Joseph, who's not used to blocking, away, and that basically limits the gain by Armstead. Nice job by Colby Reinhardt on that play.
Armstead for 3,
It's
second
only a gain of 3, 2nd and 7 on a play they call the exotics in that Saskatchewan offense. Calgary brings the blitz. Joseph has time. What a catch! Yo Murphy stretching out in front of the Stampeder bench.
What an excellent job of concentrating on the ball right by the sideline. The veteran showing his leadership qualities right there. The Saskatchewan bench erupts after he leaves his feet, goes horizontal to try and make that catch. That's an excellent job of securing that ball.
What a key addition by Aaron Tillman to sign the veteran Yo Murphy, the former Renegade who played the last 6 games with Saskatchewan after being signed as a free agent in September. And a first down. Joseph handing off. Kenton Keith hits the hole. And he'll have a gain of 6, maybe 7 yards on that carry.
And Brian Clark can only get up and shake his head in disgust because he had Kenton Keith, but he just could not bring down the elusive running back. He was in the hole. Take a look at him as right there as he finds the opening, and he just as he reaches, the speed of Kenton Keith pulls away from the would-be arm tackle of Brian Clark.
Keith with 112 yards rushing on just 9 carries. That 76-yard touchdown inflating the average. 2nd and 4. Joseph throwing downfield. Murphy, the intended receiver, he's overthrown. In one-on-one coverage with Pascal Masson.
Very interesting that Yo Murphy looked like he was trying to play to draw a flag rather than concentrating on the ball. He slows up right here. Looks like he's trying to get away. Now he's trying to draw the flag at this point. Knows he can't get the catch. Looking at the official, going to try and draw a flag, all to no avail. Kerry Joseph pays the price as Terrence Patrick puts him on his back.
So Saskatchewan will have to punt. Kanji set to deliver to Howell. Tom Higgins was saying yesterday they didn't think that Kanji could punt deep enough for them to set up any returns. They've had 2 beauties here so far today. There's a big punt as Kanji puts the ball over Howell's head, and Howell will draw a flag in the end zone. So really, Kanji didn't want the ball to go into the end zone, and obviously Saskatchewan didn't want to take a no yards penalty. Kanji's biggest punt of the game into the end zone, and they'll.
It ain't over yet. We're finna wind up. Let's go. It's time to go to work. Okay, now listen. Look at me. Look at my eyes. Okay, they're gonna run that play. They're gonna come back with it. Stay on the line.
Ron Este, who won 6 Grey Cups in Edmonton, really jacked up on that bench in Saskatchewan. There's the pitch out to Joffrey Reynolds, and that defense stretches it out. It's the rookie again. Maurice Lloyd with the tackle for Saskatchewan.
And what Ron, the Swamp Dog Este, is saying is those ends have got to stay honest in their contain, not allowing Henry Burrs to get to the outside as he did on the drive previous where he busted 3 first downs getting to the outside on him.
Ron Este in his 6th season in green and white, the defensive line coach for the Riders. He's passionate. 2nd and 9 after the 1-yard gain on the pitch. Riders showing blitz, and a flag is thrown. And it looks like Fred Perry may have encroached that line of scrimmage.
Well, once Fred Perry crosses the original line of scrimmage, the ref's going to blow that whistle right away. It's an offside. We'll move it up 5 yards.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 41, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Danny Barrett is upset with the call. As Perry got back before the ball was snapped.
But if he crosses the line of scrimmage,
did he though?
Well, that's what Danny Barrett's arguing, right? He's saying he didn't. If you do, they have to blow the whistle. That's up to the lineman's call.
2nd down repeated, 4 yards to go now after the 5-yard penalty against Perry. Burris gets the ball away in the shotgun to the wide side, and Kenyon Rambo breaks a tackle, heads upfield, and a big first down, Calgary. Rambo back after injuring his ankle in the first quarter has a 20-yard game.
Well, Rambo out of Ohio State can really make things happen. I'm going to keep Joffrey Reynolds in there as an extra blocker. That allows the additional time needed to find Kenyon Rambo, who does a nice job after the catch of making the defender miss and picking up additional yardage.
1st and 10 Calgary now at the 48 of Saskatchewan. Burris handing off, and Joffrey Reynolds took that handoff at full speed and crashes through the middle of the Saskatchewan defense. A gain of 17 after the 20-yard pickup by Rambo.
And he just ran through some would-be defenders. They stuck their arms out to no avail. Cut back and runs through 2 defenders, keeps his balance, stumbles a little bit. Look at that sidestep to the left. Nice job by Joffrey Reynolds to bust one.
Well, you know, Reynolds gets stronger as the game goes on, and he said, I'm the kind of guy who can pound a defense until they get tired, and when they get tired, I get better. 1st and 10 Calgary, and Burris under pressure goes to the backside to Elijah Thurman, and he's held short of the first down.
Didn't look to get back to the line of scrimmage.
He'll actually lose yards as they tried to get the old hitch screen to the receiver to bring him underneath with some blockers. Everybody's going to go outside, and he's going to come underneath and try and catch this ball as he comes back to the ball. That's a great job of Eddie Davis, the veteran, to beat the would-be blocker and bring him down for a loss.
Yes, a loss of 3 on the play. 2nd and 13 as the veteran Davis makes a big play for Saskatchewan. Burris straight back in the shotgun, looks one way, then across the middle. There's Reynolds open, and Reynolds diving close to the first down.
Reynolds just does an excellent job after he catches it football. He is the outlet pass for Henry Burris. He just sneaks out, finds himself wide open in the middle. Look at that move he makes on Reggie Hunt to come back inside of the would-be tackle and pick up additional yards and almost a first down. Looks like they're going to bring in the sticks to measure.
Joffrey Reynolds, the Stampeders nominee for most outstanding player this year, and a West Division All-Star, is a yard shy of the first down after that 13-yard pickup. And you know how driven he is to make good for the fumbles that cost Calgary a year ago. He's had one in the first half here, and he's running with abandon.
Well, this is a full yard, Mark, and they're going to go for it. He sent Wes Cates in.
Tom Higgins watching nervously from the Calgary bench. It is 3rd and 1 on the 23 of Saskatchewan. Riders stack the line. There's movement from Nate Davis. No flag on the play, and the Stampeders will rush it up the gut for the first down. And now there's a fumble. Scott Schultz says he has the ball. It is Saskatchewan football. From underneath the pile, the ball was loose.
Wow, unbelievable turn of events right there. We watched Nate Davis jump, and he got back off, and I thought that the Calgary offensive line did an excellent job at taking advantage of the fact that Davis tried to get back, and as they push him back, they pick up the first down. But somewhere in that mass of humanity, Scott Schultz takes the ball away from Henry Burris.
The 5th turnover committed by Calgary. Thought there might have been a flag there as Davis moved, and now the challenge flag has been thrown at the Calgary sideline.
Well, is he down? That'll be the thing as well.
Well, this will be hard to tell in that massive humanity. There's the ball. We see it.
You can see it. And then he looks like he's down right there. But again, and Mark, you've hit on this a number of times.
Calgary's challenge that the player was down by contact.
Mark, you made the comment earlier today that it has to be conclusive to overturn. It really is. And, you know, we have the benefit of all these angles. But if we can't see it, it'll be interesting.
Well, the Stamps have already won one challenge in the first half when Elijah Thurman's fumble was ruled down by contact, and here we are in the second half, the Stampeders challenging a second fumble, saying that the quarterback was down by contact.
On the Thurman one, we had a better angle, a better look. You could actually see that the knee was down. This is in the mass. This is in a rugby scrum as they're trying to push forward to pick up the first down. And somewhere in the middle of that pile at the bottom is Henry Burris.
Well, you're right. It moved like a rugby scrum for about 5 yards. And it was a delayed call, and when it was over, there was Scott Schultz holding the football. Let's look.
Well, there's the ball. He's right inside there. Now, as he goes down, it's really hard to tell from that angle.
There's the ball in Schultz's
see, Schultz has got the ball right there already.
It's hard to tell. Was his knee down? Was Burris down before the ball came out?
And it has to be. There he is right there. Now, let's take a look. There's the knee.
Well, he doesn't have the ball, though, in that shot.
The knee is down, but it looks like they almost have, or that Scott Schultz has his hands around the football, but is it simultaneous? Do they both have their hands on the ball, and that would go to the offense?
That was the best angle of that call right there. And now the two head coaches, Barrett and Higgins,
after reviewing the
await
play,
the ruling.
inconclusive evidence that he was down by contact. It'll be Saskatchewan ball, first down.
Wow!
Okay, we got the play.
Scott Schultz with a fumble recovery, and Henry Burris is shocked. Danny Barris celebrating. They win that one in the second half.
Well, the thing is, Mark, you have to have conclusive evidence to show that. And when you got a mass humanity there, we got an angle, but it's really hard to see when he loses the ball.
Fifth Calgary turnover. Here it is again.
There he is right there. That's him down there. It looks like he has it as he goes down on that one.
But when he hits the turf, there's no football.
Yeah, that's it, right?
There's no football in Henry Burris's hands.
I love the challenge, man. I love the challenge system. You know, it's not 100% perfect, but...
That's the second challenge for Calgary. Because the challenge was unsuccessful, they lose their timeout.
Wow. Double jeopardy for the Stampeders. They win the first half challenge and lose this second half challenge, and with it, their timeout. In a one-point football game, that could loom large come the fourth quarter. But the drive is stopped at the 19 of Saskatchewan as Joseph takes over on offense. Hands off, Kenton Keith bounces after being stuffed and gets outside. Wes Lysak with the shoestring tackle for the Stampeders, or Kenton Keith was off to the races again.
But again, it's second effort. We've seen it with Joffrey Reynolds in Calgary. Kenton Keith goes in the middle, bounces off. He's stopped, he's hit. Again, Brian Clark. But he bounces out to the outside. As you say, Wes Lysak comes up in the safety position, but he picks up 7 yards. Good first down production.
But Kenton Keith is prone on the turf. It looks like his right calf is at a cramp as he awaits medical attention from Ivan Gutfriend, the Saskatchewan trainer.
Let's take a look at his rushing chart today. You see up the middle, the big one, obviously 76 yards for the touchdown. That was the first play of the second half. A lot of success tucking in behind that big offensive line of the Riders. I do believe it is a calf cramp that Kenton Keith is experiencing right now.
So Kenton Keith, who opened this second half with that spectacular 76-yard touchdown run and ignited this Saskatchewan offense, will have to leave the game for 3 plays. In his place, the backup Dominic Dorsey, and Saskatchewan really, you know, mulled over the decision whether to leave Shermar Bracey at home this week in favor of Dominic Dorsey because of the return capabilities he has, and they're hoping now that Kenton Keith's injury is not serious. And for viewers just joining us, let's bring you up to date. Marcus Howell with that electrifying first half 57-yard punt return touchdown, a half in which Henry Burris threw 2 interceptions. Kenton Keith began the second half with that 76-yard run for the touchdown, and then the blocked field goal against DeAngelis after Calgary lost yards on 2 successive plays. Kenton Keith gingerly making his way to the Saskatchewan bench. It looks like a cramp to his left calf muscle.
Well, hopefully he'll be able to get on the sidelines, and as you say, Ivan Gutfried will be able to work with him and work that cramp out and get him back in the ball game. Dominic Dorsey will take his spot, the speedster out of UNLV.
2nd and 3 after the gain of 7 on the play in which Kenton Keith was injured. Dorsey in the backfield. Bunch formation for the Riders. They'll pass. Joseph in the pocket, has time, throws it across the middle, and it's complete to Yo Murphy. And Yo Murphy made the catch in first down territory, then was swung back. So the Riders will move the sticks.
And again, you know, veterans, they just know where they are at all times on the football field. You see how he runs past and comes back to the quarterback. Know where the first down marker is, go past it, so when you come back and help your quarterback, keeping the defenders behind you, you pick up the first down.
Corey Grant in now as the Riders go to a 5-receiver set. Murphy with 4 catches for 23 yards on the day. Blitz. Joseph throwing short side, up for it, and complete is Matt Dominguez. And Dominguez is tackled very close to the 40 and that first down marker.
Well, just a slant pattern. They're going to take the wide receiver, Matt Dominguez, and slant him into the middle of the field. Hopefully try and get a little separation from the cover man, Kobe Reinhardt. Ball thrown a little high, but that's where Matt Dominguez can use his height advantage and come up with that catch.
What a comeback season, Chris, for Matt Dominguez. After missing 16 games last year with that torn ACL, a 1,000-yard receiver. On this 2nd and short now, double tight formation, and the big quarterback, Kerry Joseph, will plunge for the first down on the final play of the 3rd quarter in. It's a 1-point football game with the 4th quarter straight ahead at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. And on the Saskatchewan bench, this was the scene moments ago. The players and coaches raising the number 4 into the air. The 4th quarter, they say. 1 quarter to go to decide whether they move on or whether their season is over.
What they're saying, Mark, is they have to win the 4th quarter.
First down, Riders at their own 41. Joseph throwing to the wide side. He has a completion to Jason Armstead and a gain of 6 yards. Let's check the 3rd quarter statistics.
Well, obviously the story is the 5 turnovers. I mean, 2 in the 3rd quarter. Burris with the fumble. I mean, the blocked field goal by DeAngelis, and the fact that Saskatchewan at one time was down 21-5 is now only down by a single point.
2 big plays to rally. A touchdown by Dominguez, and then this man, Kenton Keith, back in the game. He had that exciting 76-yard touchdown run to open the 2nd half. The handoff is to Kenton Keith, and it looks like he's back to form on that 2nd and 4 situation, very close to the first down.
Well, they run the bunch formation, the 3 receivers to the short side, and they run the ball right behind them. They're just additional blockers, nothing fancy. There's the blockers right up there. They're just going to run out there, get a little seam for the explosive Kenton Keith to get through there, and he picks up the first down.
The Riders need a healthy Kenton Keith, who accounted for 38% of their offense this year. And look at this so far today, averaging over 10 yards a carry, 123 and a touchdown on the ground. Double tight formation. Play action. Joseph dropping, throwing downfield for Hathaway, and Corey Hathaway can't catch up to the bomb. Incomplete.
Corey Hathaway can't catch up to the ball because he stops running. Halfway through the route, he stops, and then he decides he's got to pick it up. Now, whether that is just a breakdown in communication between Kerry Joseph and himself, you see at the end, he's just not going to catch up to the ball, but in the middle of that route, he actually slows down and stops. So sometimes when that happens, there's a little miscommunication of what he's going to run and what the quarterback thinks you're going to run.
Hathaway back in the lineup off the injured list this week at tight end. And that trick didn't work. 2nd and 10, Saskatchewan. Calgary blitzing. Joseph pumps, wants to go deep. He's in trouble and now will run, but won't have the first down. Takes a late shot from Scott Coe, who immediately looks at the officials and gets away. No flag.
Well, he took a shot and he was just trying to bring down Kerry Joseph, but Kerry Joseph took a good shot on the left knee. And he is wearing a stabilizing brace on that left knee. He pump fakes, tries to get somebody open, and he takes off with the ball. Now, you're going to see, just as you see it, that's Raheem Abdullah, 53.
There's that late shot from Coe. No call. Punt situation on 3rd and 4. Kanji to kick, standing at his 43. Luka Kanji angling it out of bounds. It won't get out of bounds. And there's Howell, takes a hit from the rookie Lloyd as he made the catch at full stride. What a head-on collision.
Well, Lloyd of London's might want to sell some insurance to Marcus Howell on that play. That's a great stick on the cover team.
12:25 to go. Lots of time, and that's a good sign as Marcus Howell is up and walking after taking a big hit that left him on the turf.
Well, it's all about zones. And look at this. Look where he's going. And look at number 47 right here. Nobody touches him. Runaway freight train. Making a stamp.
Morris Lloyd with the big hit. Boy, he's been a factor today in his playoff debut. Play action now. Burris throwing downfield, looking for Rambo, and it's overthrown. Rambo was in behind James Johnson, the rookie corner, but the ball was about 4 yards too far.
Well, this is what's great about fourth quarter action in a playoff game where it's do or die, is the fact that you've got to go downfield. And you know what? You go down, you try and put a little fear in those cornerbacks, and this time Rambo does he's got some space. He's got a little separation, but as you say, the ball just overthrown on the inside shoulder.
Henry Burris watching one that got away there. He's had a tough game here, throwing 2 interceptions and fumbling once. 2nd and 10. Burris back to pass, pressure now, gets it away, it's intercepted. Eddie Davis, the veteran and former Stampeder, picks off the 3rd Henry Burris pass of the day.
Mark, that's the 6th interception. A forced throw again to the sideline. A desperation throw that came back and haunted him.
The Riders take over in Calgary territory when we come back.
You're right. So I'm going to sit back. I'm going out that lane.
Well, I'll tell you, they're going to bring a blitz. There's Maurice Lloyd coming in there, and this man coverage on the backside. Now, they flush him to the left, and Burris throws off his back foot. Watch this, freezing guys. Look who's the closest guy to the football. The receiver's not even in the picture. That's Eddie Davis in front of Thurman with his 4th career interception against the Stampeders. None bigger than that one today.
The 6th turnover committed by Calgary, just like they did 1 year ago in the West semifinal. The handoff is to Kenton Keith. He's hammered by Khalid Abdullah, bounces off the tackle, and rumbles for 3 more on the play. A durable Kenton Keith up the middle.
Well, this is exactly what you want. You've got the ball now in Calgary territory. You want to establish something. You want to still come away with some sort of points. You want ball control to use the clock, but you want to be able to get down and at least get 3 points off this turnover.
You know, Steve Morano was asked this week about players he most feared in that Saskatchewan defense. He listed 4, one of them, Eddie Davis, along with Reggie Hunt, Fred Perry, and Nate Davis. And Davis came to the fore on that interception. Flat pass out of the backfield, too far for Keith. It is not a live ball. They rule it was forward, but it was oh so close to being a lateral and a loose ball. 3rd down.
Well, they got an opportunity to put some points on the board right now. It's very important that when you have a turnover, you get something off it. As you say, that ball was thrown over the line of scrimmage just barely, so it is not a live ball or a fumble.
And Kerry Joseph wincing at not taking advantage of that turnover to try to stick it in the end zone. Marcus Howell is back in the game. A 41-yard field goal attempt by Kanji, the rookie, to take the lead. Kanji, kick is up, and it's good. The rookie puts the Riders in front. And a big cheer goes up at McMahon Stadium. The 10,000 or so Rider fans vocal. And Chris, we remarked in the pregame introductions, when was the last time the home team was booed when they were introduced? But that's what happened when Calgary came on the field.
Well, you go to any city in the CFL, and you know you're going to have a great contingent of Saskatchewan fans, and they were booing the Calgary Stampeders, as you say, as they came out in introductions. I almost had to check to make sure I was at the right stadium.
Kanji, the rookie, with a clutch kick there from 41. And when he made that kick on the last play to beat Montreal a few weeks ago, that's when Danny Barrett said, this kid is ready for playoff pressure. The Stampeders will return the kickoff as Kanji gets set to tee it up with 10:26. Lots of time to go in this game. The 6th lead change as Saskatchewan moves in front.
Well, if there's a guy that can get it done, it's this man. What a game he's had. A 57-yard punt return for a touchdown already in the first half.
It's great to see him back because they had worked on his neck. They immobilized his neck after that hit by Morris Lloyd. And he is flanked right now by Joffrey Reynolds. Remember, J.R. Ruffin left the game injured in the first half. And so the kick return duties fall on the shoulders of this man, Marcus Howell, from his 13-yard line. Reynolds gives him a block, gets a seam. Oh, great special teams tackle there. Dustin Chernosky fends off the block to make the tackle. I'd like you to log on to cbc.ca/CFL and cast your vote for Warrior of the Game. Let us know who has the heart, the guts, and the courage and the grit to be Warrior of the Game. Warrior of the Game is brought to you by the all-new 2007 GMC Sierra. Henry Burris, in his last 2 playoff games, has struggled, and he's struggling again. Here today, his team down by 2. Quick drop, throws to the short side, and he has a completion as Nick Lewis holds on in coverage from Eddie Davis. But in his last 2 playoff outings, these are the numbers for Henry Burris. He has thrown 5 interceptions and not a single touchdown.
Wow, those are stats that are just staggering. Now, here's a question I'm going to throw at you with 9:59 and ticking left in this 4th quarter mark. They got a guy on the bench right now who has taken and won big football games in Danny McManus, and I'm wondering, will you see Danny Mack sometime today?
McManus has been used sparingly, only throwing 28 passes this year in a backup role. Here's Burris, short drop again, pumping, now rolling away from Jeriniak. Downfield, a dangerous pass, and it's complete to Lewis, but there were 2 Saskatchewan defenders looking for another interception on the play.
Eddie Davis came over the top, and I'm just surprised to see that Nick Lewis even came up with this catch. Jeriniak's got pressure on him. Nice job of securing that ball by Nick Lewis.
Throwing into coverage with Eddie Davis and Reggie Hunt surrounding Lewis, but he makes the catch. Short, though, of the first down by 2 yards. 3rd down, and Calgary has to send his punt team onto the field.
And you have to watch now. We haven't talked about this in this telecast, but fakes is right on. You know that Coach Higgins is a fan of the fake. He likes the direct snap to Brian Clark.
But do you do it in your own end?
Well, that's the question. You do something that's changed the momentum, right?
Yes, indeed. Burke Dales takes the snap and will punt it, angling it to the sideline. It won't get there. Dorsey now from the 25, surrounded by Khalid Abdullah for a short return. Welcome back to the Scotiabank West semifinal on CBC. Sun beginning to set here in Alberta. 8:36 and counting on the clock as Saskatchewan goes to work on offense with a 2-point lead. Joseph handing off. Kenton Keith surrounded and hit for a loss in the backfield.
That's a big play by Demetrius Maxey. Haven't called his name much this afternoon, but a big play there to secure and wrap up Kenton Keith before he can bounce to the outside. He's got a stutter step. He's great at changing direction. Tries to get to the outside. Demetrius Maxey, the 13-year vet from Texas El Paso with the stop.
A loss of 1 on the play, on the tackle by Maxey. 2nd and 11. Stampeders drop off. Joseph confused. Now he gets the ball away on a screen to Kenton Keith. Keith upfield, driving the pile. First down on the second effort.
What a great call on a blitzing defense. You want to take advantage and make them pay for blitzing. They're going to bring the blitz from the outside. Let's just dump it off and do a screen. Kerry Joseph does a wonderful job of holding on to the football until the last possible second to let that screen develop.
Great patience, waiting, and then delivering. A screen and a 14-yard gain to Kenton Keith. Joseph now, straight drop, under pressure. Now he'll run. And he won't get far as Scott Coe comes up to make the tackle. And that will line back in position for the Stampeders.
Well, that's a nice job of Scott Coe to close on Kerry Joseph. He looks to go downfield, can't find anything, and then the closing speed. That's a nice job of squaring up for the tackle by 56 of the Stampeders, limiting Kerry Joseph's gain.
You know, that knee injury has really slowed Kerry Joseph rushing this year. He had 592 yards on the ground, half what he had a year ago when he had 1,006 yards rushing at quarterback. 2nd and 6. Here comes the blitz again. Joseph stands in. It's nearly intercepted. Pascal Masson, the 6th DB into the game, steps in front of the pass to break it up. The Canadian out of Laval pressed into service with the injury to J.R. Ruffin.
And it almost looked to me like Matt Dominguez just did enough to not allow. You see, as he dives in there, he gets the thing in there. Looked like a little bit of a grab there as well.
Well, look at Dominguez's jersey.
His shoulder pad is shown. He thought there'd be a flag, but he did enough to disrupt, not allowing Masson to come up with the interception.
3rd and 6. Stamps will get the ball back here on this punt situation. 6 minutes to go in the ball game. And Kanji taking time off the clock here before he delivers the punt, and it's a beauty. A high spiral, forcing Howell back to the 18, and he's got nowhere to go. A 45-yard punt and just a 4-yard return. You're watching the CFL on CBC. A big-time 45-yard punt by Kanji to press Calgary deep. This Calgary Stampeder team has not scored a point in the second half. This man, Sandro DeAngelis, had his field goal blocked. Then the fumble by Burris, the interception by Burris to Davis, and a 2-and-out punt. And Calgary has nothing to show for this second half. Play action now. Burris throwing out of the backfield to Wes Cates, and he has a big first down. Wes Cates off the bench in a big play. A reminder to catch all new episodes of The Hour next week. Guests include John Grissom and Canadian rock superstar Tom Cochrane. Plus, Rick Mercer visits the newsstand. The Hour with George Stroumboulopoulos, weeknights at 11 on CBC.
Saskatchewan's ends have got to stay in the contain. We saw Este talk to the ends, Jureniak in particular last time. They weren't there that time.
16-yard gain by Wes Cates. Burris, play action in the pocket, across the middle, crossing route, nearly intercepted. Tristan Clovis, the rookie safety, had the ball, hit him in the numbers.
Hit him in the old bread basket. He just couldn't secure it. Overthrown on an attempt to get Nick Lewis in the middle of the field. Oh, those are the ones that haunt you for many nights. Just going to work and round it off to the middle of the field. A little bit of a drag across the middle. Overthrown. And Tristan Clovis, the first-year player out of McMaster, wishes he would have held on to that one.
Yes, he had that ball in his hands for a moment. And these Saskatchewan defenders are getting hungry as Burris continues to cough up the ball. Saskatchewan now drops off after showing the blitz. Burris, though, under pressure. He can't get the ball away. Hammered as he throws it in vain with Clovis and Jackie Mitchell all over him.
Mark, if you're going to run a blitz, and I love this blitz, and you're going to bring backside pressure with Jackie Mitchell, you have got to bring frontside pressure to not allow Henry Burris to be able to run unabated to the outside. But because Clovis is coming from the other side, he's got to pull up, and that allows Jackie Mitchell the time to get to Henry Burris.
That was confusing for Burris as they showed blitz dropped off, then came from the backside. And they forced Calgary to punt the ball away. 4:20 and counting left in this football game in regulation time. Burke Dales delivers from the 30. Dorsey comes up. It's a short punt. And Dorsey runs into punt cover as Randy Chevrier makes the tackle. Exciting semifinal Sunday here today. A reminder, next Saturday our CFL playoff coverage continues with the CFL Finals preview show from Vancouver beginning at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, and then next Sunday the Scotiabank East and West Division Championships as Jason Claremont and the BC Lions await the winner of this football game this afternoon. It all gets going at 12:30 Eastern with the pregame show, Elliott and the panel. Gorgeous night for football here in Calgary. 1st and 10. The handoff is to Keith. There's nowhere to go, and he bounces to the backside on the play. And he'll have a gain of 3, maybe 4 yards. Tough going. There's Danny McManus, the backup quarterback on the Calgary sideline, talking with Jermaine Copeland, trying to find something to go, but he's got playoff experience and might, as you foreshadowed, Chris Welby, might the Stamps call on him.
Well, I'm a little interested in the fact that he's talking to the receivers and not talking to Henry Burris, which would indicate to me he's trying to help Henry. This time he's trying to get a feel for what the receivers are doing out there.
2nd and 7, and a big play here for the Saskatchewan offense with 3 minutes and change to go. Here comes the Calgary blitz. Joseph firing. It's complete to Corey Grant. He breaks the tackle, beats another man. Masson is caught from behind. Tony Teller made the tackle. It's a huge Saskatchewan 1st down, and they're going wild in green and white at McMahon. A 37-yard gain. Joseph to the Canadian Corey Grant. The 3-minute warning in Calgary. Welcome back to the Scotiabank West semifinal on CBC. 2:56 to go. They banned the gopher from the sidelines, but the green and white are here in huge numbers. And this man nearly had an interception which could have gone the other way, but by inches it goes in Saskatchewan's favor as Corey Grant made that 37-yard pass and run play. And it's 1st down at the 25 for the Riders. Handoff, Armstead underneath, gets a nice block from Kenton Keith and jumps upfield. 1st down.
Kenton Keith, outstanding block. You get to carry the mail majority of the time, and he's going to lead block for Jason Armstead. Watch him butt up against the defender, Khalid Abdullah, put him on his backside and spring Jason Armstead to the inside. Boy, if you ain't carrying the load, you got to do it some other way, and that's a nice job of Kenton Keith helping to move the chains.
1st down at the 14 of Calgary. This drive started on the 44 as Saskatchewan monopolizes the ground game this afternoon. The handoff is to Keith, hitting the hole hard, high-stepping to the end zone. Touchdown! Kenton Keith, and there's Bedlam at McMahon. 13 yards, full speed ahead for the touchdown.
And straight up the middle of that offensive line, and then he makes a nifty move to high step over one of the defenders and takes it, and look at, he's mobbed. There's Jeremy O'Day and the rest of the group all celebrating the biggest touchdown of the Riders year to date.
Kenton Keith now has 159 yards of offense this afternoon and 2 touchdowns. And Scott Coe, no, that's not Scott Coe.
That's Raheem Abdullah.
It's Raheem Abdullah, who's the injured defender for Calgary. And Kenton Keith, what a second half. It began with that explosive 76-yard touchdown, and then this 13-yard.
Watch the offensive line create that opening. I mean, when you get a hole that big and you got a back worth half a grain of salt, I mean, he does a little nifty leg shake and he beats one guy on his own.
Look at Wes Lysak put his head down here.
But look at that. I mean, that's vision. As a defender, you never put your eyes to the ground. You always watch the numbers. Lysak's guilty of that, but Kenton Keith, he's watching the defender and watch him step to the left, high step, and then he smells the goal line, puts the shoulders down, and as you see, 13 yards later, it's a touchdown, and Saskatchewan, who was at one time down 21-5 mark, 25 unanswered points, now lead after the successful extra point, 30-21, I will assume.
Danny Barrett keeping his team focused as the legions of Saskatchewan fans celebrate in the stands here in Calgary. Luca Conti with the convert. It's good, and every point is important as the Riders have a 30-21 lead with 2:12 to go.
Mark, what you've done is you've made it essentially a two-score game now. They need a touchdown and a field goal to win.
We have a chance here, Chris, to check on your Rona game notes.
Well, let's take a look at it for Saskatchewan. We talk about the 33-year-old virgin, Kerry Josephs, 172 yards passing, a touchdown in playoff game today. A nice job in the second half of distributing that ball properly. Obviously, the touchdown to Dominguez on the last play of the first half was nice. The defense, fantastic for 6 Stampeder turnovers, pressure, forcing Henry Burris to make bad decisions. Well, we might as well get Calgary too, so why don't we do that right now while we have time. To be or not to be, we talked about a little bit of Shakespeare. Burris, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble. We wondered which Burris would show up. Hey, pressure helps him make those bad decisions. And on defense, welcome to Denny's. That was Denny Crean, the defensive coordinator, while Kenton Keith has exploited Denny's special for 159 yards of offense with 2 touchdowns, including that electrifying 76-yard run to open the second half.
That was quite a monologue. Tom Higgins said this week, I will judge the entire 2006 season based on a single football game, this one. If that's pressure, that's fine with me. Now his team is down by 9 with 2 minutes to go. Here's Marcus Howell. Nice move. Gets free, gets a block. Down the sidelines to center field. A big return. Marcus Howell. 37 yards to set up his offense.
Well, Marcus Hall has done it on punt returns, and he does this on kickoff. Look at him on this return right now, giving his offense great field position to start, knowing that they need to get 2 scores to get back into this game and win this football game. Center field's a great place to start.
Henry Burris trying to stop the bleeding and stop another second half collapse in the division semifinal. Shades of 1 year ago. He needs 2 big scores, a touchdown and a field goal. Burris throwing to the wide side. What a catch! Copeland in the air! Copeland airborne brings it down for Calgary.
What amazing body balance as he leaves his feet and twists all the way around to secure this catch. He's looking one way, goes all the way around, snags that ball and still keeps his feet in bounds. Great job of Jermaine Copeland.
It's a 23-yard gain on the play. And Henry Burris comes to the sideline with an injured Stampeder. It's Howell down again.
Well, Marcus Howell's a warrior. I tell you, this guy has done it all for this team, and you just love it. We saw him get basically put out by Maurice Lloyd.
Look at this. The Stamp fans have given up on their team. Some are actually coming back. Many have already left. The Saskatchewan seats are still full. And you see on the edges of the stadium, all green and white, and it's packed. But if you move closer to midfield, look at that. All kinds of empty seats here at McMahon with 1:56 to go. And Howell led off the field. This Calgary football team does not have its timeout. It lost its timeout, remember, after losing the challenge earlier in this half. But the green and white fans staying in throngs. Burris back to pass, throwing downfield, and it's incomplete. too high for Elijah Thurman as he got just one hand on the football.
Well, Elijah Thurman, who had double coverage, Jackie Mitchell had dropped off, and Reggie Hunt, number 9, they had him high and low. You see them both in front of him, and basically almost could have came up with an interception themselves.
Burris now having to go to the air. There's no time to lose. These are his passing numbers so far today. Still looking for his first touchdown pass after throwing 3 interceptions. Add a fumble to that mix as well. Burris, 2nd and 10. Out of the pocket now. He can run. He'll throw downfield to the end zone. Brett Ralph, incomplete. With the rookie James Johnson in coverage. It's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, this is one of those situations that I saw Henry Burris get to the outside. I thought he might have took off it with himself and used his legs to pick up a first down. Everybody comes inside. That's Fred Perry. He gets stuck on the inside. Now he's got all this room to run. Decides to try and put it on a rope, but throws it too far for Brett Ralph at the back of the end zone.
So a field goal situation for Tom Higgins and Sandro DeAngelis from the 40. He had one blocked from 42. This from the 40 to pull to within 6. Brett Ralph to hold. There's the pin. DeAngelis the kick. Wide. Dorsey will run it out for Saskatchewan. And Dorsey out of bounds. A huge missed field goal for the leading kicker in the CFL.
Well, we've seen great things out of Sandro DeAngelis. But when you look at what he's done against Saskatchewan, the first game he was 6 for 6, but over all 3 games, he was 9 for 13. And boy, he's had one block early today by Nate Davis, and now he just pushes one wide. Nice hold, it's right there. At a time you gotta have it, you just couldn't put it through.
The Calgary Stampeders, Tom Higgins now with 1:30 to go and still trailing by 9. Double tight formation, first down at their own 13, and Kenton Keith will get outside. A straight arm, a flag on the play. He's tackled by Franz Clemens, but Kenton Keith and his performance today has been outstanding. Henry Burris, a night he'd like to forget. 3 interceptions thrown here today. Throwing off the back foot into coverage. And for this young man who possesses so much energy and talent, he's had a hard time the last 2 years in playoff competition.
That's what pressure does. If you don't pressure Henry Burris,
Saskatchewan, number 35, decline.
Hathaway with the penalty, but if you don't pressure Henry Burris, you let him get into any kind of rhythm, he's going to hurt you. I think it's a great game plan by defensive coordinator Richie Hall to come after Henry Burris.
Deja vu. Just like 1 year ago, this Stampeder team committing 6 turnovers and blowing a 23-12 lead to Edmonton. This year they had a 21-12 lead and have yet to score in the second half.
Or they had a 21-5 lead at one time.
Just playing the symmetry at halftime, my friend. Let's take a look back 1 year ago, the West semifinal. Henry Burris to the air and intercepted. Wiltshire had that pick. Then the fumbles, 1 of 2 by Joffrey Reynolds. And the turnovers killed Calgary. They had the lead. They had beaten up Edmonton the week before in the final game of the regular season, and then saw it slip away, just as it has here tonight.
And remember the 3 games, I look back at the last 2 when Saskatchewan came here. 97, we know they won, they went to the Cup. 89, they came here and won, and they won the Cup.
You're right. A lot of questions about the Stampeders' decision to make changes in their defense, to play untried rookies at linebacker and sit players like John Grace. And
well, Rodriguez left. He only played the first quarter. He got hurt.
Cornelius Anthony also. And play is whistled down before Kanji's punt is official.
They call timeout first before this now.
But you have to talk about the performance of Kenton Keith today, Chris. And what we saw today is the reason that Roy Shivers and Danny Barrett kept him around Remember the early part of the season, he was in trouble with the law. The game wasn't going well for him on the field. And then he hit his top gear at midseason and hasn't missed a step since.
Well, the young man has rebounded in a big way. As you say, the second half of the season. And when they run, they win. It's that simple. You take a look at that. 9 wins this year, 156 yards rushing. When they lose, only 104, but they got 194 yards rushing.
Please
today.
reset the clock to read 44 seconds. 44.
3 seconds added to the clock to leave 44 in a desperate situation for Tom Higgins and the Stampeders. They have lost only once this year in 9 home games and face defeat for a second time, but this is the biggest one. This is game 7 in football, sudden death football.
Let's go! On the road, it's very, very hard. They weren't a good road team. They were 3-6 on the road.
And the Riders just get this one away, nearly blocked as Brett Ralph came so close. Howell now with the return, caught from behind by Kitwana Jones. And some help from Neil Hughes, but a near miss.
Well, Brett Ralph almost gets his hands on which would have been a huge play for the Calgary Stampeders. Luka Kanji struggled first half punting the football. Short kicks, Marcus Howell made him pay. Really kicked the ball well in the second half.
33 seconds. Burris has got to stick it in the end zone right away. He hands off. Joffrey Reynolds up the gut, breaking tackles. Look out. Reynolds all the way to the 25-yard line, a gain of 15, but only 27 seconds on the clock.
And that's it, Mark. Because they're anticipating that Henry Burris has to throw the ball, they're going to play off a little bit. And as a result, the running game should be there. Tristan Clovis coming up from that safety spot to drag him down. You see Barrett looking over his plays.
Here's Burris. In trouble. Gets away from Perry. Now throws for the end zone. It's incomplete. The rookie, Tristan Clovis, breaks it up in front of Nick Lewis.
And it almost looked like Tristan Clovis lost his footing as he was coming back to that ball, but just regained his balance enough to not allow Nick Lewis to come up with a touchdown catch. He slips and leaves his foot, leaves his feet, comes up, stumbles a little bit. Nice job. That's great coverage.
So it's 2nd and 10 from the 26, but only 12 seconds on the clock. And they're celebrating in the stands, the green and white fans indeed, who have traveled here today to watch their third-place football team do it the hard way, on the road. Standing, waiting for the final gun with 12 seconds to go. Rider fans in a celebratory move. Burris in the pocket, pumps, steps away from the rush, throwing to the end zone, and it's broken up as the ball careens away from Elijah Thurman. 4 seconds on the clock.
And once again, good coverage, double coverage on Elijah Thurman in the end zone. Pump fake by Burris. Tries to drill it in between double coverage. Thurman can't come with the catch, and as you say, Kerry Joseph knows he's 4 seconds away from going to BC.
The CFL playoff rookie getting his first taste of success in the postseason. Final play. Burris on 3rd down, launching the ball skyward into the end zone, and it's broken up. Intercepted by James Johnson, and Danny Barrett celebrating a playoff victory. A head coach who has endured enormous pressure and speculation today salutes his fans. His job is said to be on the line. And Danny Barrett and the Riders will live to play another day. Saskatchewan fans celebrating with their players here at McMahon Stadium as Danny Barrett acknowledges the support of the green and white. Down to the sidelines, and here's Brenda.
Well, Mark Kerry Joseph is now undefeated in his CFL playoff career. And Kerry, what was the key to this team finding its groove in that second half?
We just kept believing. You know, we came out in the second half and made the plays when we had to. Defense did a hell of a job of shutting them down and giving us a chance. And we made the big plays when we had to on offense.
Congratulations on a great game.
Thanks. I want to say hi to everybody back at home. Love y'all.
Let's go to Mark now.
Thank you, Brenda. Danny Barrett's Saskatchewan Roughriders with 18 unanswered points in the second half to come back from a 21-12 deficit and pull off the upset. Joseph and the Riders move on to the West Final to face the BC Lions with a 30-21 win in Calgary.
If you didn't know where this game was, you would think we were in Regina. The Saskatchewan fans are all here, still in the stadium. The Calgary fans have all gone home. What a sight it is for those who love the green and white. Warrior of the game, there were two choices, Kenton Keith and Maurice Lloyd. Danny Barrett on his roster for this game listed Lloyd as the backup at middle linebacker for Kadwana Jones, but there's no doubt who the starter deserved to be. Lloyd was spectacular today, moving ahead of Jones on Greg Frere's favorite defensive player list. He's been promoting Jones all year. Floyd today.
Warrior of the game, brought to you by the all-new 2007 GMC Sierra.
All right, guys, we got to go quick here. Henry Burris, Kahari, he's going to get it for this.
Oh, yeah, it was a tough game for Henry Burris. I mean, 3 interceptions. All day he was throwing off of his back foot, and I just could not believe that he was moving out of the pocket the way he was, throwing into double and triple coverage, and it cost their team.
When head coach Danny Barrett said to his team, you take Joffrey Reynolds out of the game, and Burris is going to make mistakes. 3 interceptions, 6 turnovers, deja vu to last year against the Edmonton Eskimos.
And we talked about Kenton Keith to start off the game, said he was going to be the key for Kerry Joseph, and he was. Kerry Joseph struggled early on. Kenton Keith came out in the second half with a huge 76-yard touchdown, finished the game with 141 yards on 16 carries, 2 touchdowns. It was all Kenton Keith today.
And you know what? You could tell right from his first carry of the game, where he only gained 2 yards but should have lost 5, that Keith was going to be a superstar today. When we come back, we're going to wrap up the East. Keith is celebrating the Terrell Owens pom-pom move. He deserves it. He was great. Well, if you're a Saskatchewan fan, there truly is no cloud in the sky tonight. What an evening for you as your team scores 25 in a row to come back against Calgary. Earlier today, another comeback victory. Michael Bishop, this is why Sean and I picked Toronto today, because we knew Bishop would come off the bench to lead them to a victory. As Kahari Jones says, they threw to Arlen Bruce, even with the double coverage. That made it 27-24, and this was the winning touchdown to R.J. Soward. Bishop, the Heisman Trophy runner-up to Ricky Williams in '98, Sean, is the winner.
Well, Michael Bishop makes Pinball Clemens look like a genius. Coming off the bench for David Allen, who did not have a lot of success. He knows who the playmakers are on that team. He goes to Bruce right away, and Bruce rewards him with a touchdown, and I think it was genius to move on Pinball Clemens' part.
And once again, the Toronto Argonaut defense stepped up. Carter, Steinauer, 2 interceptions that led into points. Steinauer iced the game. They had held Kevin Glenn, quarterback of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, to 20 yards passing in the first half. They're going to have to be great against Montreal next week.
And you have to feel for this Winnipeg Blue Bomber team. I mean, they came out and played a fantastic second half. Kevin Glenn really got it going. He threw the deep ball well. Charles Roberts got it going, but he lost the fumble. And then Bishop comes in, makes those 2 big plays, and they lose the game. So it's tough break for Wednesday.
And Pinball Clemens will have a quarterback controversy this week. Who does he go to against Montreal? It'll be tough to take Bishop out of the game after what we saw earlier today. It was a great day for the Canadian Football League. This league needed this after a rough year, 2 good games, and it happened.